Oh. Bang, bang, bang. Thank you, Katina Man. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. The person that you can't see to my left is that girl, Adara. And what are you doing, Rammer? Welcome, guys. All right, we already have some OGs already there in the chat. We got Alex, Enzo, baby. We got Darwin. We got Fat Figa. We got Off Grid. We got Alex, Enzo, as well as Market Sniper. So we're waiting for some more people to head on over from the other stream, and then we'll get started with some of these here trades. I don't have any trades quite yet. Jack CW, let's go to you too, sir. There we go. Rivian, Millionaire, Easy Trader, Matthew Booth, Cohen, Clock and Tax. I like that. We got Why Not? We got Balanambi, as well as Ronaldo, Big Bob Dub, the Piper, Pillsbury, Hamster One. Now it's starting to move too quick for me to catch. James Murray. We got Ken Wicken, Travel Buddy, as well as Mr. Love Shack and T-Money. Welcome to everybody, as well as Bob Ross is in the chat. Oh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get our art on. Yeah, there we go. Well, they actually have the picture of actual Bob Ross there, so I think they're trying to do things. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this fine Thursday morning?
I cannot complain. Everything be looking good. Apple's up. And I'm looking here at Google, I'll tell you the truth. So let's get to that right away, because Goggles is doing things. 1.44% to the upside, and it looks like it's uninterrupted. And as you'll see, it hasn't touched the 10 period not once. So to me, you know, this one is, I don't want to call it parabolic, but it's awfully buy program-esque, where, you know, there's really no break in the move up. So we'll keep eyes on Google. It just broke through 175 HOD right now, 175.06 on this name, with a good amount of volume. No specific catalyst that I can see, but let me tell you, the videos from the Google I/O event are making the rounds online. They came to this guy's favorite social media platform yesterday on TikTok, and I was telling Brendo all about it. So many different things that are coming out of this event. I'll tell you guys about that as the show goes on. But that's one name I'm definitely keeping an eye on. GOOGL, awfully strong on the day, as well as NVDA. Look at these double bottoms off yesterday's close through 946. Adara was trying to get into this one. She'll tell you about it in a second. But she had an excellent level off that 950 area at the volume weighted average price. And look at that. It's already knocking on the door of 956. Keep your eye on that 958 and a fifth. That is the HOD on the day. Adara.
Yeah, I will say I'm proud of myself for not chasing NVIDIA, but I do want to talk about it, and thank you, Sheree, for reminding me, because I was kind of trying to block that right now. Okay, we didn't even take it. But I really liked it off 951, which was that VWAP bounce, right? So try to get involved in 951s. At this point, it's bounced a couple times. We're at like 951.30, so it is like I could reasonably get this fill, right? And then NVIDIA's like, no, I'd rather not. Like, okay, that's fine. Then we come and we start to see higher lows. We start to see support at 952. I said, okay, NVIDIA, I can play that game. I don't want to chase you, but I have no problem moving up my entry by like $1, right? Because it's NVIDIA. I'm trying to scalp a bit. I'm like cool with that. And NVIDIA's like, oh, so joke's on you. I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, guy, tell me what you want to do, NVIDIA. I'm going to be watching. I have no plays on this yet. I want to see what we do around VWAP. I think there's probably something. I know what levels I like, but I just don't have any, you know, reason to get involved right now. I want to talk about IWM, though, because I'm very proud of this trade. So I open this chart. Well, I have it on my side chart, right? And I see, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. We had that little resistance there earlier that we're now forming a support around 208.80s. And then I realized, hey, you know where this little level is we're building around right now? That's right, that 208.90 area I was obsessed with yesterday. I'm like, if that was a crazy level yesterday, I think it can get popping today. We might reject here, that's fine. I'll get out if we break below 208.70s, but I think the opportunity for a flat top break, especially given how much of a level this was yesterday, to me, outweighs any concerns I have about this breaking down. I like this look, I love this look. This is something I absolutely want to get involved in. Also, definitely hit up our poll. Find out what you're here for, because we want to know what our audience is into. Thank you guys so much. We also want to super chat Willis Addison, $2. Penny Poppers, entry G-Wave, 8 cents. FFIE, 32 cents. Risky, money bag emoji, or caution emoji, money bag emoji. Let's take a look at FFIE for you. And also GWAV. I saw that GWAV. That was a nice look. Yeah, FFIE, I mean, if you got in at 32 cents, congrats to you. That's a nice look. Continuing to bounce off that 90 EMA. We made a slightly lower high here, though, in the 5, so we're going to have to keep an eye on FFIE. Volume is just a cool 500 million shares, so not too crazy. You know, pretty low key. No, I'm joking. That's insane. But yeah, shout out to you, Will Saddison. Let's take a look at GWAV as well. Yeah, okay, this is an even nicer look. Continuing to make, or at least on the 5 minute, continuing to make higher highs. Volume even somehow better than FFIE, question mark. 765 million shares in volume, so that's a great look. Continue to bounce off the 90 EMA. We had that nice pop off open. I brought this on the big desk. I think that's a really nice look. IWM, trying to hold on to 208.80s. Hopefully it does, because I'm planning on scalping this bad boy out.
All right, I saw Neil throw this in the chat. You guys probably already have advanced notice of this, but AMD is an absolute rocket ship on the day. What is going on here? Knocking on the door of that $166 level. Hi, Neil. How's that apple, buddy? I don't know why they're doing that to him, but Ram's just trolling him. She didn't mean to. Yeah, no, guys, we're at high day right now on AMD. We're about to break through $166, 165.96. I mean, there was no huge catalyst for this, but there was this headline here. AMD replaces NVIDIA on Wolf's top stock list. Okay, so that's a bit of a statement there. So we'll continue to see what happens in the future, but obviously AMD having a much better day than NVIDIA today. NVIDIA up 0.84. AMD knocking the door of that 4%. We'll keep eyes on it. It's done a plethora of shares. 27 million, just a little bit less than that shares done on the day. So we'll look for something here on AMD. But here I can already tell you how my trade will, as of this moment, be structured on it. I'm going to look for a 10-period retracement. And if it doesn't hold at the 10 period, I'll definitely be looking to add at set 20 period. This is absolutely trending. The dips have come into the 10 period. Initially, we had a nice little dip here at 10.15, the deepest of the dips, you could say, that went to the 50, broke VWAP, broke the 10, broke the 20, but held up at that 50, and we haven't looked back since. It's been one big move after another. 166 now has come and gone. There it goes, printing new high of days as I talk. Great day today for AMD, now over 4% up on the day, and I'm seeing some fist pumps there, so we'll get more information as we go on, but we do have an ad read in about a minute, so I'm just going to talk until that time comes. Yeah. Here's Tesla as well. So we're getting that Christmas tree, upside down Christmas tree retracement. So Tesla looked weak off the bell there. 174.25 we were dancing at. We all the way down to 170.150, and now we're breaking high days. 175.20 HOD. So keep your eyes on our friend Elon and his Tesla Cybertruck. Guys, we are brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in a convenient, chewable tablet and at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the good old USA and shipped directly to you. And we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code TraderTV at the checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. So visit bluechew.com and use that promo code TraderTV for that special deal. Shout out to the good folks there at Blue Chew Adara.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Blue Chew. Also, yeah, still have a third of this position in, but I did accidentally fat finger some of it out. I wanted to put 209.04s. Instead, I put 208.04s, and IWM's like, cool, we'll just let you out here, which I'm fine with. It's about 5 pennies away from what I wanted. 2/3 of this position out. Really proud that I went at this with a few more shares because it was a setup I really liked, and I had really tight risk on it. I wanted to risk like 10 pennies, and so far we are about like 15 pennies, 16 pennies in the money. I want to see this break above 209. I don't know if we'll get it. For me, the big white whale here on this trade, like the area I would really love if we got to, is going to be that 209.20. That was an area a bit yesterday. That's a little bit of a support area earlier. If we don't get it, I'll just get out around 90s. I have no problem with that. But I want to see us bounce off 90s here, but I also want to see this lesson of the day.
All right, guys, we are talking about moving average crossovers all week long. Today, we're going to get a little bit more specific with the technique. We're going to talk about managing false signals and risk when using crossovers. I hate those false signals. Who doesn't, right? All right, traders, welcome aboard. Moving average crossovers are powerful trend identifiers, but even the sharpest tools can generate false signals. Today, we'll learn how to navigate these false positives, so to speak, and manage risk effectively. So let's get right to it. So why signals can be wrong? I'm sure everyone's got their theory about this. We're going to talk about it more from a structured perspective. So imagine a perfect golden crossover where the 50 crosses above the 200. You enter a trade long, but the price plummets instead. What happened? Here are some reasons for the false signal. First one, market volatility. We talked a little bit about this one earlier this week. Erratic price swings can trigger crossovers that don't reflect the true trend shift, right? Prices might reverse quickly, leaving you holding a losing position. Now, market volatility is not, the same throughout the day. So if that is something that you want to avoid, you may want to avoid trading at the open and at the close and look for a more stable time of day. That is if market volatility is your Achilles heel. If you don't have another confirmation technique to help you with this crossover false signal, then maybe stay away from the open and the close. But there's also random noise that comes in at any time of the day, right? Short-term price fluctuations can cause what they call noise in moving averages, leading to misleading crossovers, especially with the shorter term moving averages like the 10 and the 20, etc. Okay? So how do you protect your capital? Because that's, that should be priority number one, even before making money, because if you don't have capital, you can't make money. So how do you navigate these false signals? Here are some essential risk management techniques. First and foremost, you got to employ stop loss orders, right, in one form or another. They don't have to be hard stops. They don't have to be resting stops. They could be mental, but you got to stick to them, right? You can't just, willy-nilly choose when to use your stop and when not to. So your first line of defense, place your stop loss orders below your entry point for trades, for long trades, and above your entry for short trades. These, if you don't know, automatically exit your position if the price moves against you, limiting your potential losses. Pretty basic stuff. But position sizing here equally is important, right? Don't go all in on a single trade. Allocate whatever fixed percentage of your total portfolio to any one trade. Some people use a 1% to 2% rule. Others use higher or maybe even less. This way, even a losing trade based on a false signal won't devastate your account. If you don't have an account with which to trade, you can't trade, okay? Confirmation signals as well, super important here. We got into these bad boys yesterday, so if you want more deets on confirmation signals with moving average, just go back into yesterday's lesson and have a quick watch there. So confirmation strategies, as discussed yesterday, combining crossovers with confirmation for momentum indicators like RSI and stochastics or price action with volume helps filter out weak signals and identify the stronger trends with a bit lower risk there. So risk management, we were talked about how to protect your capital. Obviously, some of the stuff we already talked about is risk management, but let's talk about even more detailed risk management. Here are some additional tips. Volatility filters. We haven't talked about this one before. So consider using average true range, ATR for short, or other volatility measures to avoid entering trades during excessively volatile periods where false signals are more likely. Here's what I mean by that. You pull up, let's say Apple, okay? It's breaking down below 190 right now, by the way. You pull up Apple, for example. You see, I'm just giving you a random number. Apple's true range is, I don't know, 3, okay? And then today, Apple's trading 7. Its ATR is 7. So you should be aware that the likelihood of false signals coming in with using the moving average crossover technique is more likely when the ATR is elevated above its historical range. Now, the ATR typically takes place over a 14-day range, okay? So that's what you need to know about that. So make sure you're employing these volatility filters if you want to manage risk a bit more effectively using moving average crossovers. My suggestion to you would get on that ATR tip. Trailing stops, equally as important as well. You see Neil using them all the time. I see him throwing comments in the chat about him moving up his stop for a position that he's been in for a while. So in case you don't know, these are automatic orders, basically stop losses, and they move, they adjust as the price moves up in your favor, which helps you lock in profits while limiting potential losses on a potential reversal. And remember, guys, risk management is not about avoiding losses altogether. That's kind of impossible in trading. It's about minimizing them, not avoiding them, but minimizing them and preserving your capital so you can continue to trade. No money, no trade. Simple, okay? So your takeaway here, always approach crossovers with a healthy dose of skepticism. I know I do. Don't chase every single blindly. Look for confirmation. If you didn't watch yesterday's lesson about confirmation, I'm going to repeat it. Go back and watch it. It really does help. And by understanding false signals, implementing confirmation strategies, and employing proper risk management techniques, you'll be better equipped to navigate the market and make timely, informed decisions.
I mean, that we're all about timely and informed over here. Thank you so much to Sharif for that, delivering that lesson of the day, putting that together. I'm in NVIDIA. I finally, like, my issue with NVIDIA all day has just been I've not been fast enough with it. I see something I like, and then I get all skittish and I don't get involved. NVIDIA bouncing off, initially wanted 952.50s. We bounced off of it, and then before I could get involved, NVIDIA was like, now I'm up to 954. I was like, cool, NVIDIA, do your thing, 21. If we break decisively below that 952.50 area into 952s, that's where I'm gonna have to leave. I want minimum 954s on this. I think that's reasonable. I think we've bounced up into that before. But also what I'm gonna be doing a lot more of is scalpulation. When I say that, I mean, if I don't like how I'm feeling in a position, I'm just gonna get out. Because that was my thing yesterday, is that NVIDIA trade that I had into that I think it was like that 944 long. You had it on NVDL, that 43 long, killed it, crushed it. I paper-handed and got out, and I think the thing was too, because I was scalping, I was waiting, like, for my type of play, it just wasn't gonna work. You know what I mean? So you have to understand, everyone has different styles, everyone's gonna trade things differently. I appreciate Sean as well, bringing this up, trade your own book, trade your own style. So my style is always gonna be super scalp, and in this case, if I lose confidence at any point in this, I'm just gonna have to get out where it is. We keep bouncing right now, but I think if we start, and this is why I do a ton of book reading, especially with my NVIDIA trades, 953 was support earlier. If I start seeing 953 flip as resistance in the book, I'm just gonna have to get out there because I know that'll be better getting out now than it will be trying to, finagle my way out later. So hopefully NVIDIA keeps it popping to the upside. Also, IWM, not really proud of what I did with this. I should have scalped everything out around that 209s. Instead, I added to the position, which was planned if we saw a bounce, but it just wasn't really the bounce that I needed it to be. I got a little bit, I got it where I wanted to, but I just shouldn't have added back in. So I ended up losing on this trade. Adara, you are a scalper. Pieces for the dream are not really your style. So I think I'm gonna have to recognize that and just get everything in and out where I want to. NVIDIA, keep it coming. Hopefully we get a little bit of a pump there. If IWM tests 209 again, I'll try, but right now happy with what I have.
All right, so I'm in Google. I'm gonna let that one work.
Yes.
I'm looking for a 10-period retracement, but this is the thing that I just noticed here. So Apple started dumping. And so, naturally I'm looking to see what's popping off. Visa rolls out new tech rivaling Apple Pay, teams up with a firm for easier transactions. What is a firm up to today? That's what I want to know. AFRM down 1 1/4. I mean, come on, bro. This thing can't catch a break. So I don't know. I don't want to disrespect it or anything, but it doesn't look like it's having too much of an effect right now. Apple just bounced off yesterday's closing print, 189.72. We went down to 189.76. Good move up there. Hammer candle coming in on AAPL. This is what I'm looking at right here. That white line right there is yesterday's closing print. It doesn't quite make it down there, but we'll see if it's really able to reclaim 190. If it is, then we could start talking about it long. Otherwise, to me, it's looking awfully short right now. I'm going to get out on the break of the $0.50 on goggles. If it breaks $0.50, I'll be looking to re-enter along at the 20 period. That's about 174 1/4. I won't hold my position entirely into that. I'll get out on the break of the $0.50 and then I'll look to get back in maybe at a third or $0.25. We'll see if I get stopped out there. Hasn't got stopped out yet, but that's an interesting look. The other one, MSFT. Look at all these bounces yesterday off that 423 closing print. Even the morning volatility held those levels. 945 it holds. And 10:05. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really intense.
Okay.
No, everything's fine. I'm just crazy.
I was worried.
No,
10:05 it held there as well, again at 11:10, and yes, again 11:15. So this 423 area OA or whatever is holding up from yesterday. I am now stopped out of goggles. As I can see there, it got removed out of the position board. So let's go back and have a look at that. I might have just been weaseled out of that trade because I think it just dipped below the $0.50. I'll pack my patience. If this starts moving back up again, I'll get back in if it doesn't make it back into the 20 period. So we'll keep eyes on goggles there. I'll keep eyes on all these Mag 7s that are coming back near the closing print from yesterday. Amazon is at yesterday's closing print. Apple is at it, and Softy's at it. So you have three bad boys at those levels right now. Goggles, Tesla, and Meta are not there, and then Nvidia is well above that at the moment, up 0.75%. So that's what I'll keep my eyes out there. Yeah, Google's continuing to head down, so there was a good stop out by me to get out at the $0.50. We'll keep eyes on that 1/3, 1/4. Let's see what else is popping off here. Let's go into these small cap gappers. Haven't looked at these quite yet, nor have I shared my small cap gappers with you. So on the left here, we've got AMC, we've got GME. I've got these bad boys up as contingency. If anything starts moving with them, we'll start covering them for you. But MGNI, thank you, Adair, for pointing that one out to me. This is a good looker. Look at this one, headed to the high side, holding that 10 period on the 5 like a dang glove. Any retracement into this one has bounced off subsequent to that 940 5-minute candle. I'm going to be all eyes on MGNI. I'll give you guys the deets on that one super quick here. Give me a sec. So market cap, bigger, $1.75 billion. So it's not a small cap gapper. The volume done on the day, $8.75 billion. The float, 125 million shares, a little bit less than that. The short float, let's find out. MGNI, shout out to Trade Ideas, 4.7% of the 125 million share float is shorted, so not big, but not negligible. FFIE as well. Sorry, do you want to get into it?
No. I was just gonna say you're all MGNIs. That's all. Really.
There you go. I knew you were setting up for something there.
That was what it was.
FFIE. This one was sub $1 yesterday. We traded this one at around the $0.75. Now it's at $1.25. So there's a lesson in perspective. So we'll keep eyes on this one. 102 is VWAP. I'm going to be looking for a dollar defend here. And that's a particular trade I like with these sub $1 names that claim a buck, especially with VWAP being about a couple of pennies above that. So 102, interesting level for me on Faraday futures. And VinFast, oh, baby, VinFast is back. And it's kind of trying to stay above VWAP right now. It's not the biggest mover on the day, nor has it had a whole bunch of shares, but it's still positive and at a key technical level here at VWAP trying to straddle it.
Yeah, oh boy, VinFast.
Oh boy.
Shout out to Obi there. But yeah, sorry, I literally just I like that all MGNIs. And Sharif and I were talking about this before we came on. We're both very routine-oriented people. And so lately the routine has been, Sharif gets back from his walk and I tell him the small cappers I like. And MGNI was one of those for sure. I think that's an interesting look. Right now, I kind of like, I canceled this because I didn't have enough conviction in it. What I really liked on Microsoft was the short earlier, that 424.60. And then I was like, Adara, I don't know that the future's really popping at that time. And I just wasn't confident enough in it to take it. I need to get more confident, but I also don't want to be cocky either. I don't want to be taking things that I'm not confident in just because I really want to be in a trade. Do you know what I mean? And so my qualm with Microsoft, we're below VWAP. Fuge taking a little bit of a dive here as well. If I see another kind of candle here to confirm, as I'm kind of seeing here, that I have a little bit more strength. We do have a bit of a double bottom. I just don't like that we're below the 90 EMA, and I don't like that we're below VWAP. I do like, though, I'm really proud of my instincts here on NVIDIA. I want to talk about this. So I've been saying I have a new thing now where if I don't feel comfortable in a trade, we must scalp out as fast as possible. Because that was my issue with IWM. I felt comfortable in it, but it just, Atira, why are you holding on to pieces of the dream? You know you don't like that. So it's okay. You live and you learn. And so today I took that NVIDIA scalp, 953. Initially I wanted 954s into 955s. Then I noticed, because I do a lot of book reading, especially for NVIDIA, and I feel like, and this is something I've talked about with Obi as well on the show in the past, basically saying, like, he was like, sometimes you notice if you read the book for a stock a lot, you kind of get a sense of how it moves. And so you can kind of see, and like I said, I love using the book for support and resistance. So if I start seeing a lot of 953 prints on on the ask instead of the bid, then I start noticing, hey, we're actually seeing resistance now in the book at 953 instead of support. So I started kind of seeing that, and I said, Adara, you are not going to get what you want here. Take your 50 pennies and run for the hills. So I took 55 pennies on this. Please just punch. Yeah, with NVIDIA, I can totally live with that. I like that. I was initially going to try to take that long off that 952 area, but I wasn't 100% confident because right after I got out of this initial long, we dropped, and I said, Adara, wait a little bit, take your scalps, plan your scalps, and it just, goes back to confidence in trading your style. That's why I was happy. Please just punch with my NVIDIA trade. Shout out to you, Easy Trader, saying facts. Yeah, what's everybody looking at here? I'm excited to take a look at some other names. SOXL, getting kind of interesting to me. I really enjoyed trading the indices a lot, and Strafe and I have talked about this. And look at this.
Whoa.
This is a support. Yeah, we're getting
Looking
in.
good.
I'm going to risk this into 45s, and we're going to try to get involved at 55s. I don't know what that sound was. Gonna get a decent position here, enough that I can be comfortable with. I like that we're writing the 9 EMA. I like all these very bullish wicks here. We try to go down at SOXL. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm still up. So, calm down, SOXL. You got this. I want to get involved 55s. That might be a bit too conservative. That's another thing is I get a little bit, you and I have both talked about this, being too frugal, trying to enter your trades.
Oh, God.
That's a huge thing. Yeah,
I have so many problems.
I deal with that so much. So that's why I really, I also like that was the top of that previous range. So if we can get involved 55, I'll even take 58s. I have no problem moving it, but that's what I want here. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm back in goggles. We're doing nicely here, about 15 pennies in the money. I'm going to let this one run. Put a bit of a hammer candle. So yeah, it's a trending stock. Let's call a spade a spade. It's up big. It looks the best out of these Mag 7 names. I don't know if it's up the most. What is it? Up 1 1/4? What's everything else up? Yeah, it is up the most, actually. Obviously, AMD's up a lot more, but AMD's not a Mag 7 name. So goggles, I'm long goggles at 54. Let's see what we get here. If we can move up to test 175 again, I'd be pleased as punch, but we'll see what we get. Now, Apple bounced again off yesterday's close, so a couple of bounces here, but it's having trouble now reclaiming 190. So this could be a range trade here that could establish. I'm not saying it will be, but keep your eye on this 190, 189.72 area. It seems to be straddling that $0.25 area for whatever reason. Obviously, 190, a key resistance level. We claimed it in the pre-market, which made me a little suspicious of whether we're going to hold it or not. There is this school of thought that it believes if you capture the level in the pre-market on lesser volume, then it could be bearish and you sell off in regular market hours. How true that is, really unsure. I don't have the data to support it. But in any event, looking here on Apple to see what we can get, if anything. Tesla did a big boy retracement off that 179.80. It's not a level that I charted. 179.80. Did this feature yesterday? 179.60, 179.5 featured yesterday. Kind of a random area here to find resistance, but alas, it is finding support at that $0.25 level, 179.25 on TSLA. Nicely in the money here, 20 pennies in the money now on goggles. Let's see if we can make it back up. There it is, baby, into the 80s. So goggles heading back up again. By goggles, I mean Google, guys, okay? And there it is. I'm taking that money and I'm running at the 90 penny level. Happy with this trade. Not a bad one after getting punched in the face a little bit, trying to get that 10 period quick. And alas, it did make its way down into the 20. So it didn't spend long at the 20, but it did kind of come close to the 20. The 20 at that level was 174.25. It made its way down into a third. So missed it by a little bit. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it looks like it's on its way back into 175. Go, Google, go. The future also finding a second breath here, bouncing off the 20 as well, looking to take that 750 level, 18,750 again. HOD is 760, so we're 10 points right now off that high a day. So definitely a good look for the market at the moment. I see you guys talking about AMC. I saw Scott. Scott's telling me he took a shot at AMC low a day, and I like that, Scott. That's a good move. It's a calculated move. Yeah, and here's my reasoning why it's good. That 460 level, Adara, we touched that level on decent volume, 500,000 shares. 524,000 shares on this one candle here at 7:05. This candle had 200,000. So decent volume in the pre, even though it was 7 a.m. So it held up there at around 460. So I like what you're doing there, Scott, front running it a little bit, jumping in there at around the 4 2/3 area. I hope you can print something maybe near VWAP at 495. Right now, though, I got to tell you, Scott, if you're scalping this, looks like to be the best deal because every time it makes its way back into the 10 period on the 5, it seems to find resistance. It happened here at 10:55 and again at 10:50, 10:55, and then you see these two candles, 11:05, 11:10, rejects again, and then there's topping tail doji candle, 11:25, same business. So keep your eye out for that 462 LOD. It does have some support, though, from that 7 a.m. trough that we did hold up at. So good look here. MGNI is going, baby. So we're going to have to pull this bad boy up on a trading screen, Adair, because it's headed up 30% in the good now.
That's a great look at MGNI. I like that one as well, a little bit, that flat top break. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I did get involved in Amazon, which I'd like to talk about. So I took this trade because I look at this little wick here, right? Into that, I saw this on my side chart, and immediately it was like, oh, okay. We had that push down here into what, like 186.25s, right? We reject beautifully. I say, Adara, just get in. I got in 186.15. If we broke decisively above that 186.25 level, 186.30, that's when I would leave. And then we get this candle. Look at this rejection. This gave me all the confidence I needed to stay in this trade. We try to break above it, and it's like, jokes. So I stayed involved. I could have added in if I was a different type of trader, but I'm not. I'm just this new trader, and I wanted to not have too many. I just want to be really honest, right? Like I considered adding in, and I was like, Adara, this is not your bag, or not your egg, if you were the person to my right. But yeah. So let's see. I'm not saving pieces or dreams. We don't do that. I can't. I love the idea of doing that, but again, this is just really not my type of trade. I want my, we're going to get the whole beat nice and dunked at that 185.90 level, but if we keep bouncing at 186s, I'll get out here. So that is the look there. I have no qualms. I would risk like 10 pennies. I can take 15 and be pleased as punch. That's what I mean by scalpulation, right? As long as you have a plan and you have a little adaptations to the plan. I have no problems abridging the plan, writing like, a children's adaptation of the plan. I don't know, the analogy got a little bit out of my way, but I like this Amazon. Hopefully Amazon likes me back. Microsoft, I was like, oh, maybe I'll take this bounce. I should have taken that bounce. This was a double bottom. I had my reasons for not getting involved, and I stand by not wanting to get involved because we were below VWAP. We were below the 90 MA. I wasn't 100, we got out of Amazon. Wasn't 100% confident, but if we rejected that for 24.60 and I see anything confirmatory on the future, I keep saying the future now. I
like it.
You and I are really bouncing off each other there. But if we have that breakdown in the future for, at the same time we have this move down here for 24.60s, I will take this short. I will take it at least into VWAP, if not into the true bottom of that range. But I do like this. It's actually not a bad range at all. It gives you about $1.40. So I probably wouldn't play it the whole way, if I'm being very honest. But I do like this look. Thank you so much, Darwin. I really appreciate, what you had to say there. I'm just trying to grow every day, so I really appreciate all the support in the chat. Paula Blackford wanted me to look at Meta, so I'm going to look at Meta. I had thoughts on Meta actually earlier as well, and my thoughts were, holy cow, this range. Which is usually my thoughts when I look at a chart, if they has one I can look at. That base at 475.50, that top of that 477.70, 477.80 gives you about $1 penny range. Now though, or sorry, $1.20, not $1 penny, $1.20 range. But look where we're rejecting now. That's right, bottom of that range. So I want to take this. If we keep saying, like, look at this little topping tail candle, that is something I absolutely want. I'm interested in that. That is for sure. Also, really proud of where I got out of Amazon because we bounced right back up. I got out, we bounced right back up. So I'm proud of what I'm trying to do. Scalpulation, a lot of it is using charts as levels and then books for my last minute decisions. So Paula Blackford, I think Meta looks like it could be rejecting. I think what it does here at 475.50, especially coming into confluence with the 90 MA, could be key. Shout out to Confluence. But also, yeah, again, congrats on your Google trade, because that was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I want to mention Disney here, guys. I'm not going to mention Disney as an intraday trade, but it's something that I pointed out to Neil this morning, and I want to point it out to you guys. So Disney came in to the 200 exponential on the daily and has found support. It also came out of oversold territory on the RSI to break out of that level and move out of it. So I'm not saying it's a long on Disney, but what I'm saying is a 200 EMA on the daily hold, and then when you go to the weekly, there's that confluence, baby, bounces off the 50 on the weekly. So I am going to study this a little bit more, but I could be persuaded into weaseling my way into a swing on Disney. I'm talking about a swing trade, not an intraday trade for Disney. I'm going to see if it holds these levels. If it does, I'm definitely interested in weaseling my way into this, perhaps maybe for an $8 or $9 winner or something like that, into maybe the mid 112s if we can mean revert back into this consolidation area at the 50 on the daily, not the weekly, the 50 on the daily. So Disney, good hold up on the daily, good hold up on the weekly, good RSI confirmation as well coming out of oversold territory. Keep your eye on that if you're interested in swings, not financial advice. MGNI, I've got this up now on a trading screen. It's up 30.12%. I'd like to get in around 1260. I'm a frugal guy, right? Speaking of frugal guys, I was charting yesterday, as I typically do, so I saw Costco. Oh. Costco all-time highs again, back into those March highs. First thing I do, get on the phone, I message Alfred. Alfred, Costco's back at all-time highs. What's the look? It's too expensive. Alfred, you always say it's too expensive. How about now? I'm cheap. It's my brand. Like, bro, like, come on.
Alfred needs his own show. I would watch an Alfred reality show.
So speaking of frugal, that dude is frugal, right? Anyway, so I'm trying to weasel my way into MGNI here, Ram. I'm going to be looking at that $12.60 area, which is where the 10 period is on the 5. That's where I want to get in. If we can get in there, fantastic. Let's go ahead and try to front run that monster. I'm going to sit at like 62s or 3s or whatever. What's life without Wemsy? Let's see if we can get into this monster over here. I also want to shout out Big Michael Lloyd. You thought I was going to say Big Kyle Burdett there, didn't you? Big Michael Lloyd alerting me to Kraken. CRKN, not Kraken, the whatever, the token. This is called Crown Electronics. And it's spelled with a K, so I feel it's like it's European. Okay. Yeah, because don't they use, like German, the C sound is always K, right? They don't use C as
yeah, it's like Ike.
Yeah,
it's like
right?
Yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
So CRKN, great move today, 148% Ram. This one got into 13 pennies. That's the thing, though. I mean, it's a 10-penny stock. It was a 5-penny stock at one point, a 6-penny stock today at the lows. It's a good-looking chart. You're going to have to, buy a lot of shares to make money on this, but it's done 601 million shares. So the liquidity, plenty. Keep your eye on this one. It could present you with an interesting small cap trade, but that's a look there. So I'm looking at weaseling my way into MGNI at 1260, and I'm going to keep CRKN on watch. I could be persuaded to get into this one today.
Yeah, hopefully it's able to persuade you if you see something you like on that. Also, yeah, shout out to Alfred, Sharif's pal in the 3-piece suits. Yeah, that guy is so entertaining. Every story you tell me about Alfred, it's like it paints a rich picture in your head. Very entertaining guy, and like really interesting value investing perspectives as well. You can check him out on How to Trade. I think it was the last week of December.
Yes.
So shout out to him. Also, NVIDIA. Shout out to you, maybe. I got involved at 954. We were bouncing on 954. I get involved before I can even breathe, it drops, right? But I said, Adara, let's see what we do at 953. So I'm going to risk a little bit more because I want a bit more from this trade. I kind of want 955, 956. I'm not going to lie here. But like I said, with NVIDIA, I think watching the book is super key to me. We're still seeing support at 953, but we're seeing a bit of resistance here at 954, which is not something I like if I'm long at 954 for, I guess, maybe kind of obvious reasons, right? So I want to watch that. Also, we're going to let her cook a little bit, but I want to point out, too, I'm very proud of the levels I called out in Meta and Microsoft, even though I missed both of them. So Microsoft here, I said 460, 420. Let's 420, 460. Oh, never mind. It dropped $1 before I could react. So nice look there. Happy that was a level. If we bounce, I'll get involved. Same with Meta. We did have that rejection off that 475, 50. So both Meta and Microsoft, those are absolutely levels I really want to get involved in here. Nvidia continuing to kind of curl, so I will let her do her thing. 21. The dead one, Apple, is kind of interesting here as well.
I mentioned that. I mentioned that.
I think you mentioned that, and that's
189 and 3/4, 190. It keeps, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, I might have to look at it because Sharif knows his Apple levels very well. That is a stock you are very accustomed to in terms of levels. So I do like this look on Apple. Nvidia looks like we're bouncing off 50, so I'm okay staying in this. But I will always be looking at what the book does because I'm trying to get more comfortable reading the book. I never like when we're below the 90 MA, so I might have to be getting out of NVDA. But again, if I keep seeing this 53 bounce, I'm trying to be a little bit more calm. This was, and again, maybe this is how I constructed the trade. I don't know if it was scalpy enough. But the thing is, too, is you have to be, trading, you're always going to be a little uncomfortable, right? So as long as you're comfortable with what you're trading, how you're trading, you just try to get involved. Nvidia, though, certainly testing my personal patience. So I want to see if we do 53s here. If not, I'm going to be getting out, losing $1. But again, really, really small position. What happened here?
Look, I told you.
Oh.
I mean, it was literally, I literally just got in and the bottom fell out immediately. I fat fingered though because true to form, I hit the flatten key. And why I haven't moved in the flatten key, Adira, is a question that I really can't answer at the moment. But the point is,
Congrats.
Do it now. No, I don't want to do it now. So I took out breakthrough 88. What did I get out? I got out at 88. So decent move here on the dead one Apple. I'm playing the range 189 and 3/4, 190. It's not a hard level, right? Look, it went up into 190.33, but look, I mean, it went right back down again. So play the range at your leisure. That is until it reclaims 190 again. If it reclaims 190 again, should be interesting here on the dead one. Jay Lee. I love this. I drive an old Civic with a lot of kilometers, but it's 100% reliable. I can afford a brand new easily, but prefer the older non-theft luring type. Avoid carjackings and TO. Truer words were never spoken. Well, maybe they were. But your words are very true, Jay, because we have a major issue with theft of vehicles in this. We're not going to get into it, but that is, it's a good analogy for other things. Shout out to Jay Lee, one of the OGs there in the chat. We'll keep eyes on, well, I was going to say keep eyes on Honda, but we never traded.
Yeah, we never
no, I don't think that.
Oh,
have we traded
Global Life? I don't think we've traded Honda.
I don't think so.
No.
No. Guys, Softy. Say that again. Global Life SEC investigation. What is the ticker? GL, thank you. So, Neil, thank you very much for that. Neil alerting me to Global Life SEC investigation, ticker GL. And there you go, big boy drop off that 85.5 print all the way down into 82. That's the LOD at the moment. Is trying to put in a bit of a hammer candle, coming in at 83.25. Do I have the ticker on it? Here is, the headline. Watching Global Life shares lower as Viceroy Research issues, I don't know what FOIA is, update. Okay, cool. Let's click this thing here and see what, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't click it. Anyway, I'll look at this later. Yes, it is. Global Life appears to be the target of an SEC investigation. Per withheld FOIA response from the SEC, the response pertaining to a request submitted by Viceroy Associates to the SEC was withheld. Okay, so that's on the Viceroy Research website, by the way. So that's being reported by them. I just want to mention that to you in case, we always have to tell you the context. So good look there. Keep your eye on GL if you're interested in that sort of trade, and that is obviously moving at the moment, Adair.
Yeah.
Triangles.
Yeah, there is.
I like that.
I love when you say triangles. Thank you so much. Yeah, Sharif saying that he approves of this Microsoft range, and I'm really trying to be cognizant and make sure this isn't a revenge trade. I do like it because I still like the levels. The reason I say that is because I know I initially wanted to go long here, then I hemmed and hawed, decided not to. You have to have your own decisions for things. But then I saw this short, and I still didn't get involved. I totally missed that drop. It came in with such a viciousness. But I was like, Adara, this is coming yet again. The future's getting a pop. At some point, one must trade one's range if one considers oneself to be a range trader. And one does consider oneself to be a range trader, and I do like that range. So I'm going to stop speaking like I'm Shakespeare, take this trade. Also, NVIDIA, bamboozlement king. I'm not upset about this. A little bit down in this name now because I did have that loss, but I got out where I needed to get out, and thank goodness I did because I got out right at 953s, which was where I said that was what I wanted to risk. Then we dropped here into like 952, so I'm really happy I missed that. Then we popped back up. With NVIDIA, I just need to be a lot scalpier. You know, like Dora the Explorer, swiper, no swiping. Adara, all scalping. I don't know, so I'm gonna have to tell myself. But Ramin likes that, I guess. I don't know.
She loves it.
So let's see. Also, Microsoft, to clarify, for the risk, I'm risking if we break below 423, and I want like minimum 424.50. 1.5. I want minimum 424.15. So I'm trying to make like 95 cents. I can risk 20 pennies for that. I can live with that kind of risk to reward, right? Nessa here with the super chat addressed to you, though.
Oh.
Actually, thank you so much for the $50 super chat, Nessa.
$50 super chat. Nessa, take it easy over there. Thank you very much. Thank Sharif. Thank you. I banked off FFIE because of you yesterday, and much love to Sean and Neil. I also banked on GME because you guys were on it day one. Love everyone on the show. Adara, love you too. Stream, too good. Nessa, we love you. That's kind of like how it's going to go down right now. Yeah. Shout out to Nessa. Thank you. And Ram Ram likes you. Yeah, loves you. I said the wrong word. Ram Ram loves you. So there you go. You got a friend in all of us, Nessa. So shout out to you. Thank you very much for the super chat there, guys. I put in my dip trade on MGNI. It looks like it's gonna go destined unfilled, man. I moved it up from 63 to 65. I know, a whole 2 pennies, right? Because, well, the 10 period moved up, and I want to dip off the 10 period, and it's not giving it to me. The retracements are getting a little shallower, and you know, it's becoming like once maybe every 6 candles or 5 candles that you're getting at an actual touch on the 10 period. So maybe this one goes unfilled. I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to continue to stick to my plan. Holy Kraken is moving here, man. Okay, we got to put this up. KN. Michael Lloyd, my man, you called this one out. You called this one out, Michael. 275%. This one is going. It's about to hit 20 pennies. 1760 HOD. It's at HOD right now. The volume is plenty, oh plenty. 800 million shares done. It is 17 pennies, mind you. So that is to be expected. The point is to tell you that it's awfully liquid. In my humble opinion, though, it's far too extended off the 10 period for me to weasel my way in here. It's got to come back into the 10 period. Otherwise, I just risk, you know, catching it at the top. And so, you know, I'm a boring trader, and that's fine with me. I'd rather be boring than be wild. So I'm going to continue to wait for a 10 period retracement. If it doesn't come in, it doesn't come in. So I don't trade it. 13 pennies right now is where the 10 period on the 5 is showing up on my chart here. CRKN, guys. Big, big move today.
Yeah, it's a great move. I want to pontificate a bit on what you said about being a boring trader because A, I don't think that's true, and B, different people are going to have different types of things that are interesting to them as traders. You know what I mean? Like for me, taking the type of trade where you just sit in it and wait for it all day, you know, we know what I'm like. I have no patience. I'll get out of that thing way too fast, right? Whereas I know for a lot of people how you know, my book reading and my scalping might be a little bit boring, right? So I think, I just want to say, I do not think you are a boring trader, and I think you got to do what you got to do.
Are you 50 pennies in the money?
I am.
Money, 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 money.
Not like 40.
I like how you just played it off. Like, you just started talking about like book reading and stuff like that with like no acknowledgement of the fact that you're printed. I'm like, so good for you, Adara. That was a sick range trade.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm, like I said, I want that 424.15. I'm hesitantly going to be saving a piece for the dream. And I say hesitantly because, like I said, I'm trying to do that less. However, it's going to be like a third of the position. I really want the 95s, but if we keep rejecting here off 70s, I'll take my 50 pennies. I mean, come on, what am I gonna say, no? I just wanna make sure though, because you know, these ranges don't always last forever. To quote that Nas song, nothing lasts forever. And so you really wanna make sure that, you know, so savor the moment, because time flies, don't it? So shout out to Nas, shout out to Microsoft, please as punch. I do want, if we keep rejecting off 70s, I'll get out here, but like I said, I want all the smoke. above 424s. So that's it. That's my look on Microsoft. Yeah, we're gonna go to S69s because I think I don't like these rejections, and I'd rather take some profit than no profit. Meta too. Meta was the other range I was obsessed with on the Mag 7s, but Meta to me looks like it's curling a bit more than Microsoft and curling to the upside. So I loved initially you had that bottom of the range at 475.50, and then Meta's like, who said I couldn't change my mind? Then it starts to reject it at 475.50. So Meta's interesting, but Meta I think other than these beautiful failed wicks into 476/VWAP, I think is starting to look a bit more bullish than it is bearish right now. So I don't want to get involved in that right here, right this second. Google, a lot of these Mag 7 names are rangy. It's a good day.
They are, yeah.
Look at this Google. Look at this base on Google, this 174.50.
It keeps rejecting 175. It's
Right?
having trouble with that level. That's interesting.
It's interesting. I feel like, again, ranges don't last forever, which is why I'm always cognizant, and I think that's why scalpulation lends itself. And I say this like it's a known strategy. It's just what I call my style of trading. But scalpulation does lend itself well to range trades because you do have a little bit more, you don't know how long the move's going to last. It's not really like a trend trade, so you have to be cognizant of that. Microsoft, unfortunately, coming back near my point of entry. But if we keep bouncing, I'm going to stay in. I really don't want to panic sell. I just, it's a little bit disappointing. We just got to keep going. Here, Microsoft, you have this balance. I've noticed the Microsoft more so than some of the other Mag 7 names because I also trade Microsoft less than Tesla, NVIDIA, even Apple. I would say I trade more now than Microsoft. Microsoft responding very much in tandem with what the Qs are doing. If the Qs are going to chop and turn for a bit, looks like Microsoft will as well. Let's hopefully get this spread and have this hard drive with some profits.
I like it.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a couple of observations. Firstly, CRKN is on the way to 18 pennies. It's now up 286%, looking to go 300. I think we probably see a quarter dollar likely on this. Well, we'll see. Let's do a little bit of charting. See if this monster's run before. Is it a former runner? Kind of. There is days when it's ran. It hasn't done it in about a year, over a year, maybe a year and a couple months. Last time it had big boy days like this was March of last year. It did have big boy days. It had some in February. It had, what the hell? This is daily. What is this? Sorry, September of last year. I read that wrong. September, August, it had big outsized days like it's having right now. So we'll see exactly what we get on this monster, but it's above all the technicals. There's really nothing to chart on this because it hasn't hung out in one area for all that long. It looks like there may be some resistance at 30 pennies, but I wouldn't really put a whole lot of reliance on that. So that's one thing that I'm noticing there with CRKN. Big moves there. The other thing that I want to point out is we're getting a bit of a compression pattern on the future. Now, I haven't typically used chart patterns and moving averages with the futures. When I say future, guys, I mean the futures. The NQ is what I'm looking at here, the NQ June contract. Look at all these bounces off the 20 period here on the future. And the thing is, about these bounces, each successive bounce is incrementally higher than its predecessor. So we're getting a bit of a compression pattern because we also have lower highs. But the trend that preceded that was awfully bullish. So this looks very bull pennant-ish on the 5-minute here on the NQ. So I'm very interested in possibly taking a dip trade off the 20, but I'm not going to take it on the NQs. I'll take it off the TQQs. 18, 7, and a third is where the 20 period's hanging out right now on the 5-minute. And every single bounce into the 20 period, into the 20 period has been bought up. The wicks have breached those levels though. So you have to be cognizant of that you're not going to get an exact hold up at the 20, but you likely will get a successively higher low. And that's what we're getting. We've been getting that since 11:20. So going on 40 minutes now on the future. Good look there on the future. Tesla also right here. This is beautiful. I love when this happens, when the previous day closing print and VWAP or a key technical indicator conflate, because we have a 174 level close on Tesla yesterday, or like 173.98, whatever, 174, and then the volume weighted average price is at 173.90. I love that, and it held up at that level. There was kind of like double the support power. I don't know, is that a thing? There was also price action support. Look at these wicks in the initial open there that were rejecting off 174. So it was using yesterday's closing print as a level of resistance, reclaims it, flips to support. You love when support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. Basic technical analysis 101. So Tesla, Great look here, flipping from a trough into a crest, and now using 176 as support. Daryl Finch, I'm short AMD 168.03, not bad. Let's have a look at AMD. AMD was the monster on the day, up over 5%. Jeez Louise. Let's have a look here at AMD real quick. Sorry about that. All right, here is AMD, 168.03. That's a great price, dude. You're 3 pennies below the HOD. So you're well in the money, yeah. And it did print 57, so you were well 50 pennies in the money. Shout out to you, Daryl Finch. I hope you print, but I just want you to realize that this is kind of up and to the right. And so you are counter trend trading here. I hope that, you know, it goes your way, but if it doesn't, take your profits. As my friend Neil likes to say, nobody ever went broke taking profits there. If I can make a quick observation, the shallow retracements, as I always say, seem to be bouncing off the 10, and in a trending stock, the 20 seems to be where the rarer, the less occurring retracements come into the 20. Each one has held up above the 20 here on AMD on this monster move up. Where did we close at yesterday? A little bit above 160. We're like 160.16. So what a move. $8+ it looks like here on AMD. Fantastic move up on the day. Kraken just cracked down. Look at that, 19 penny touch, 14 pennies now. That's a Christmas tree retracement. Let's figure out where it is. And guess what, guys? It bounced exactly off the 10 on the 5. So that's what I was just saying right now. It was getting far too extended off the 10, and there it is, bottoming tail candle right now, coming into 14 pennies, bouncing exactly off the 10 period, and giving you a whole 1.5 pennies to the high side there. But if you're trading a 15 penny stock, 1.5 pennies is pretty decent.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not bad. So good look there for Kraken. Let's see what else it can bring on the day.
Yeah, it fills me with, a little bit of chagrin to say we did, unfortunately, paper hand Microsoft, but I learned from this. I forgot how much of a spread Microsoft has. It actually kind of rivals its pal Meta in terms of the spreadiness. And you know what, this thing, it was a longer trade. I should have just scalped on my 50 pennies. I wasn't expecting us to run into resistance there. Then I noticed we were kind of running into resistance at 55s. Microsoft's like, I'm not gonna give you that anymore either. But I will say, I didn't do anything irresponsible. We broke below 203, or not 203. 203 Microsoft would be like a whole other thing. 423, and I got out. So is it disappointing? Sure it is. Sure, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, but I think that's the biggest thing is you can't dwell on it. It happens. I'm addressing it, and as our pal Opie says, where's the next trade? So that's what I'm looking for. I think I wanna find more scalps on NVIDIA because that is the one I've been watching the most in terms of levels, and look how tightly this is trading. Like, I think there are some little scalps in these here hills. I think there's that 953, 954, if I play it better, is an area that I really, really like. So I do want to kind of say that. Yeah, I like this area. Google, and I'm still proud of what I did with Microsoft. It was nice to have the 50 penny winner. It would have been nicer had I kept the 50 pennies, but you gotta laugh, you learn, you live, and you grow. Happy I waited for some more confirmation for that Google, so this range is looking like it's breaking down here. We have another kind of bottoming tail candle at that 474.50. That would be where I really want to enter. But like I said, I think right now that these NVIDIA scalps look very tantalizing. They have me salivating to use a Sharifism.
Whoa, love it.
He said, whoa. Also, yeah, this Tesla, I totally agree with you on Tesla.
Yeah.
This Cybertruck.
It flipped.
It's a great look. Boop.
Right?
Yeah. Support, resistance, resistance, support.
Uh-huh.
Now resistance, maybe resistance.
And do you know what that imaginary line that goes between the middle there is? Yesterday's closing print.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Thank you so much, Sharif, for pointing out that, because it's one thing to see levels on the chart and it's another to have them contextualized.
Yeah.
So shout out to Sharif as well and his pivots. But yeah, right now we're going to pivot to what you're looking at.
Yes, I'm looking at AMC because it all of a sudden got a bounce here, guys. So AMC coming off that bottom, and that bottom has been holding that 462. There it goes, up into 490. Good move here for AMC coming into the volume weighted average price. But this is the level that, I think we're going to have trouble with. 495 here is the volume weighted average price. Let's see if it goes up, man. If it goes up and breaks that level, I will be happy, because I know a lot of people love when these move, and when people are happy, funny enough, I'm happy. So let's go up AMC. If we can break through 5 and maybe take some of these highs here, initially 510, 515, you seem to have resistance at every which level because you've been coming down off such highs. So encountering resistance right now with 495, unsurprising to me, because that is the volume weighted average price, but nice move off that 460 touch. That double bottom, I don't want to call it a double bottom because it hasn't manifested into a double bottom yet, but that's a clear area of support. That general area, 456, 458 in the pre, and then 462 in after the bell. So rejecting right now off 95s, but not by a whole lot. We'll keep eyes on AMC. Did we get an equivalent move here on GameStop? The answer to that is no. We did get a nice, decent curl up here from 28 2/3 through into 30.5. So that's money. But the fact of the matter is we're still well below the volume weighted average price, whereas on AMC we're already there. So 32 1/4 is where VWAP is on GME. We're at printing 30 1/3, 30 1/4 right now, so not quite there yet. Yep, and as I anticipated, it did encounter resistance on AMC at the volume weighted average price. So we'll see how that one does. But this one now started moving here. Faraday futures, you devil you, breaking back up into that 1 1/5 again. It's 7 pennies off HOD, baby, and this is looking awfully bull flaggish. Nice move up, and then a period of consolidation. Let's see if this one can take HODs, but this one's been on a rampage as of lately. Here's the 15 on FFIE, so you can have a look at what it's been doing lately, baby. We were coming from 10 penny territory on May 14th, which was a couple of days back, and now we're talking about $1.25. So this meme stock is not giving it back like the other ones are, at least not yet. We'll see if it does. Faraday Futures, obviously, they're an EV maker. In case you don't know, they have a decent looking car. Maybe we'll get to it later. It's about $100,000, so the market for that obviously is a little bit smaller. It's kind of like Model S, Model X territory, where you're selling maximum 10, 15,000 of these a quarter. So good look there. Faraday bouncing back up, AMC rejecting VWAP. Let's go back into the large caps here, see if I can take any trades. Whoa, NVIDIA.
I think we got, it's not NVIDIA, it's the whole market. Fed's master saying that the current restrictive policy will help lower inflation. The monetary policy is well positioned. So basically just, again, talking about that restrictive policy. So anything that's basically, I guess, not a fan of, if we want rate cuts, this is not really a pro rate cut type of message. You know what I mean? Oh, I lost it there. Where it is, there it is. Saying that, yeah, basically, oh, I like that. Inflation is moving, will take more confidence, take longer to gain confidence, and that the strong economy means the Fed is risking little to hold policy in place. So basically, I'm just keeping that policy moving. Unfortunately, it happened while I was long NVIDIA. But yeah, sorry, what are you looking at?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm just going to pull up Mester's name because now she's shown her propensity to tank these here markets. So now we got to figure out exactly anything she drops. Okay, so that reminds me of one order of business that we did not get to today. We did not look at the economic calendar. I know Adara drops that obviously in the watch list, but I didn't have a look at it yet. Let's have a look.
No auctions.
No auctions
There was,
today.
I think, like a 4-week one earlier today.
Yeah, there was two. There was they were both at 11:30, but I don't.
The 8-week.
Yeah, the 8-week and the 4-week. Mester started dropping hot lines at 11:30. Then we have Bostic coming up 10 minutes before the close. He's going to come on technically here, it says, at 3:50. So he could have some effects, I guess, if maybe he starts a little earlier on the closing print there. Fed member Bostic speaking at 3:50. Keep that in mind if you're going to trade the close. Look, Apple didn't do a whole lot, guys, on that big boy Huadunk on the market. You got big boy drops on NVIDIA and all these other names, but Apple decided to stay within the range. And the range right now has been a 190, 10. It's essentially, give or take 10 pennies to the high side, and then to the downside, 189 3/4. It hasn't made it down into that 3/4 in a little bit. So we'll see if this one continues to trend in the same fashion. Good look there for Apple. Brad Goldberg, goggles is at VWAP. Good call there, sir. Google putting a bit of a hammer candle possibly here at the volume weighted average price at 174 1/5. Okay, so I'll look at that in a second because I just got information that FFIE is going nuts, and it is. Now, it just broke through HOD. There it is, $1.38, high of day on Faraday futures. This one is continuing to go up 85% already on the day, and we haven't even, are we halfway through the day? No, I don't even think we are. No, okay, the volume, 638 million shares. Yes, I know it was sub $1 today, but that gives you ample liquidity. And then this one 5-minute candle alone that just printed, we did 35 million shares. The volume is coming in spades, baby. As you saw there, we were declining volume, and then bang, 12 o'clock comes in, and we're at high days right now. Great move up for Faraday, 91.5%. Again, I'm not going to chase this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an order at $1.25. I like that $1.25, $1.50 for a reason. It's a bit of a local area top. Look at all the prints here at $1.25 that we couldn't break through. If we've broken it through now, I mean, technical analysis says, stands to reason that it acts as support. So I'm going right now to Faraday to put an order at $1.25.
Yeah, hopefully the future is bright on Faraday future. Also, yeah, I want to talk about NVIDIA because this was a moment. This was, you know, my dark night of the soul, to use like a weird literary term here. But basically what happened was I got long. We were holding support. This is the thing. I think I need to like beat myself up a little bit less for this, maybe. Because before I could even react, before I could even set stops, what have you, NVIDIA's like, I'm like, okay. But yeah, I liked it because we were holding that support for quite some time now here at that, what was it, really good, 950? Yeah, 952. I liked it, gorgeous, blah, 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 etc. Perfect. And then the whole, like, right when I get in, that's when we get that move down in the market, unfortunately. I wasn't able to get out as quickly as I would have liked to either because A, I wasn't able to set anything, right? We get in and it drops. B, the spread on this was like getting extra wild. So I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to explain what happened here because I'm not happy with it. But you know what? That means you just have to keep finding trades, finding new opportunities. You can, you know, I'm going to try to be Pollyanna with this market because this market would love to take your spirit, your soul, and your optimism. And you just can't let it. You just have to keep finding opportunities. I am down on the day, but you know what that means? That means that my energy can only go up from here, trying to find new stuff. And this Apple is looking mighty fine. I was trying to get involved in this at like 92s, 180, and I'm aware this looks bearish. I want to clarify, I would be playing the range. That would be the goal. Playing it into 189.90, up into 190.05, taking enough shares to get you out of bed in the morning, right? But what I really want in this is that short. I'm not going to be able to play it to the extent that Sharif played it. Because shout out to you, Sharif, you killed that short. There, Tesla, not Tesla, Apple off 190s. Speaking of Tesla, though, it's another one I like. Coming into previous levels of resistance and support. This short I actually want. We're going to take this short right now. Right here, right now. If we break above 94s, I'm out. So, yeah, there we go.
All right. Everybody knows what time it is. It is time for that lesson of the day with Neil.
Welcome to the lesson. I'm sorry, Ramin. You can't do. Okay, so language, potty mouth there, Ramin. Lesson of the day is how to keep your composure when Fabian and Ramin just make you crack up all day long. No, seriously, much like I had a line for this too. Much like the Far Side song Runnin', sometimes stocks go running, and you gotta figure out a way to get in. There's all kinds of runaway stocks. You could have like meme crazes where you get gaps and then halts and 20% moves and 100% moves. That's one thing. A lot of times when it's really volatile, you're taking breakout trades, you're getting wild swings. There's these entry opportunities for those types of plays. And then sometimes you see something like AMD's up 4% today. It's just steadily running, but there's nice, even ways to get into the trade. Other times, it's like you don't have a setup to get in because the way in which it's moving is just gliding and gliding and gliding. There was no breakout trade for you to take that you liked. There was no dip into VWAP or traditional dip buy. So what do you do? Like, how do you get into a runaway stock? Now, a couple of things here. As I said, AMD is a strong stock, but I'm putting this not in the category of the runaway. Because, yes, it's going, but AMD here at the open, I mean, it dipped in front of a previous close. It had a pre-market low that it held. It then came in, and when it got to the pre-market high, you had all kinds of consolidations and dips into that level. When it broke out of the 10 o'clock high, it dipped right back into it and gave you another opportunity. So there were places to get into the parabolic move. Maybe I missed one, but at the end of the day, I feel like there was a way to have traded this where you didn't have to be overly aggressive. You could have been with your plan, and yes, it's going nuts, but there was always some semblance of calm to be able to get you into the trade. Now, I would argue there was maybe a chance on Alphabet, but it wasn't quite the same thing. Because unlike AMD, it didn't really retest the lows. If you look at it, it dips right in here. That was your one chance. At 9:30, you had your one shot. But the break of the pre-market high was dirty. It was like up and then rinsed you out and then came back in there again. There was no real obvious pullback into VWAP or tight enough non-messy consolidation until it had already gone $1.50. So I know I made a mistake on this today by not getting in. So let's get that first, because it was one of the stocks I liked to the long side. But you're going to see the part of the chart where I'm focused in on. So there was no traditional VWAP dip. If you didn't get it at 9:30, there was no traditional, I'd say, clean breakout level where you had reasons to like that price and then it lined up on the chart. There was none of that. But when you have something which is demonstrating that, hey, you can't even get into the long, it's very bullish, and you like the long, what you can do is look for an entry that might be a little more non-traditional and extended, but with a tighter stop. So you don't want to risk as much if you're getting a little bit out of pocket, but what you can do is find something like this. It's almost ridiculous how much this condensed at 174. Like, you can see the wall at 174, even a failed break there, but each wick, higher low, and then right here, when it wicked this time, 174, look at how tight this came. Now it's holding 173.90. This little wedge, it's not a traditional setup for me, but when a stock is going like this, you could actually just have it after that last wick where it holds literally 10 cents underneath 174. You could be long just above 74, like ones, twos, threes. You're risking about 15 pennies on a stock that's just run $1.70 and is one of the strongest in the market. And it's just because it did this fail break and then could not even threaten some of these wick bottoms. That tight consolidation gives you a non-traditional entry with a really tight stop. It's like if it goes, it could go another $1. But if it fails, you're only risking 15 cents, and then maybe you can wait for your traditional VWAP trade. This is one of the things that I know I have to do better with, because you have something that works for you, you just want to do it over and over and over again. And other times, you just got to find something new. And this gave you that setup almost in spades. Now, the other one here, it's a bit of a cheat. It's not a complete cheat, but it's a bit of a cheat because it was news on Alibaba. So this went into a, was going to the upside. I had an 80-50 dip buy that I liked. And this time you could have really just had a breakout at the open. So, you could have had 82, 82 quarter. That was reasonable. There was maybe a little bit of a VWAP dump. The news came in, and then you see it really ramp to the upside. But when I talk about Alibaba here, I want to point to you exactly that same thing. Difficult to chase unless you had it on the news when Sean brought it to everybody live. But when it pulls back, and this is not a pullback into VWAP, but look at the similar pattern. We were just talking about this with Google. You see it pull back, doesn't get to VWAP, but then suddenly this really tight, condensed move into 86. With higher lows, it gets really condensed, really condensed, really condensed. In this case, it's giving you this level. It goes to 86.10, 86.05, but it's higher lows and condensing. If you take this breakout, it ends up being about 86.11 or 12. The local bottom on that move, again, is just underneath 86. The high of the day is 70 pennies higher, and it's one of the strongest moving stocks. So you find yourself for myself at least, a non-traditional entry point with a very, very tight stop because you're extended away from VWAP. You don't want to risk all the way to VWAP, but you can find a nice little breakout trade that goes with the trend and allows you to get into this runaway freight train. You're not guessing at the dip buy zone. You're seeing it condense, and then you're taking advantage of that little condensed move, and then you're going into the long off the top. Everybody wants to, buy that perfect dip price, get that bounce off VWAP, get the low of the day, all that good stuff. But sometimes it's not about buying low and selling higher. I mean, in the general sense, that's what you want to do in trading. There are times that you've got to suck it up and buy a little higher than you were expecting and sell even higher than that. because the trend is dictating that to you. You're not getting the prices that you're anchored to when you made your morning note and did your preparation. You know, it's come and gone, and you're not going to get that price the rest of the day. So you've got a couple of decisions you can make. You can either ignore trading one of the better trending stocks of the day that you really liked in a direction, or you can find some different style entries. And every now and then, you're going to have these tight consolidations with the trend that allow you to get that little bit of a break. So, you know, sometimes I'll show you something that won for me, and where, you know, this is a winning trade, blah, 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 it was great, look at that idea. Or I'll show you something that I lost on and what we learned. Today was more of an example of two stocks that were on my list that I love to long, didn't get either, and here's something I could have done a little bit different to have actually gotten into that runaway freight train. Both BABA, AMD was one, but I find he was able to get into it, but both BABA and Alphabet were those runaway freight trains, and a couple of tight consolidation entries that you could have taken a shot at. Both of them worked, but even if they lost, they would have been very small. So it's not always about getting the best price. Sometimes you've got to find a way to join that trend on the runaway freight train. That is your lesson of the day.
Neil Roberts, ladies and gentlemen, dropping hot lines every day around noon. Thank you very much, Neil. Neil's lesson of the day. All right, guys, here is the look. So I got into MGNI on a 20-period retracement, already wet my beak on some profits. Next profit taker hanging out at that 1270. Come what may. My stop is already below the $0.50. For breaks the $0.50, that's the end of the trade. I've already wet my beak on a 10-penny winner here on a $12 name, looking for that move into the 70-penny area. So that is a look there. The other look that I'm quite disappointed about, I was talking to Wainers about this in the back. He's like, did you see Faraday? And then I was telling him about basically the top that got put in at $1.25 and how we cleared it and how I want to use that $1.25 now as a level of support. Alas, my frugalness has come to bite me in the rear end yet again, even though this time I felt I wasn't being frugal because the $1.25 is the level, so I put it at $1.28. It came down to $1.29. So I didn't get filled there, and it moved up a cool 20 pennies off that. FFIE now up 100% on the day. What a move. What a multi-day move for this name. And it really hasn't had a red day. It hasn't given it back, guys. We've seen the other memes give it back. This one hasn't. So make of that what you will. And that is the look there. The other thing that I want to leave you with before I throw it back to Adara so she can tell you about her amazing stock sell trade is this AAPL breakout. So Apple, we saw earlier, it was doing the dance with no pants with 190 and that 189 3/4. It's broken above that now into that 190 1/4. VWAP is at 190 1/3. So I'm expecting a little resistance here if we come back into that level. I'm looking for a short on Apple at $190 and $33. Goggles is tanking. Goggles just broke down now below the VWAP, below the 50, double top at 175. So interesting look here for Google, giving it all, not all back, but down now, only up 0.8. It was up a lot more earlier. So keeping my eye on MGNI, FFIE, Kraken's at the 10 period as well, but I'm not going to trade that right now, and keeping my eye on Apple. Adair.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so I want to take my confidence back because I had that whole like NVIDIA moment where I was like, oh my Lord. And Sharif was like, you know, like Adara, it's not your fault the Fed's master talked. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, sometimes you need things to be put into perspective, right? Because second I get in the trade, we drop. So, you know, that's how it works sometimes. That's how the cookie crumbles. That's what you get when you're trading. So you got to get used to that. I got short NVIDIA because I liked that rejection here. Look at this level. That was previous support at VWAP. I said, Adara, take it. I got 66 pennies off it. I know, very specific. Got short 950, 66. I said, I'll just take the 950. I'm okay with that. Got my 950. I was going to risk it to 951, so comfortable with that risk to reward. If we keep chopping and turning here, look at this bounce. I think there's clear support and resistance right now for NVIDIA, at least for my little scalp purposes, so we're going to keep an eye on that. I also, thank you, Sharif, for showing up the stock sell trade, which I want to talk about because I'm very proud of what I did here. Got involved 47.60s, got out 47.78s. Initially, I want to see what we did at 84s, but like I said, I do a lot, you know, trying to do more book reading and tape reading. We were slowing down a little bit, seeing a bit more of a hard trek to the upside, so I said, Adara, end your trek now. Get off that hiking mountain before the avalanche hits. I think we got a little bit analogy confused there, but it's all good. Stock sell wasn't confused. Let me out. I come back from the washroom and I'm like, oh my gosh, it dropped. So happy with what I did there. Happy with what I did with NVIDIA. I need to get more comfortable in my scalping. Also, I want to talk about Apple because I like what you were just saying on Apple, and I was how I would play it, I think might be a little bit different. I like the short off that 90. That's a great look. I might, if we bounce at 90, that's where I would go long, or 190 on Apple. So I think playing it just kind of different ways.
Yeah, if we've used to use it as support, and now you want to use it as, we're using it as resistance, now you want to use it as support. Yeah, makes absolute sense there.
Absolute sense.
Absolute sense. Absolute. I like that. Guys, we're getting accumulation here on AMC. I saw you, Eric. Eric Lundbald wants me to jump into GME. I won't jump into GME. You know, Neil's like, do it.
I actually like GME here.
I like AMC. I want something to happen off this VWAP kind of retracement and consolidation. She likes, Ram likes GNC. She likes her supplement, GMC. Oh, GMC, okay. What kind of car do you like, Ram? Okay. All right, we'll move on. 495 accumulation at the volume weighted average price on AMC. I want to see if this breaks. Does it take it? What do we do around here? Do we reject? Do we curl down into maybe a new low a day, 4 2/3? What the situation is going to be here on AMC? I'm watching. We'll watch exactly and see what happens. Kraken is cracking back up to the high side, baby. Look at that 10-period hold. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then curls to make finally that higher high, coming back into 17 pennies. This one is up to 160%. Keep your eye on this one. Great look there. Faraday Futures, FFIE, finding a bit of resistance right now at the $1.50. 149. $1.49 is the HOD at the moment. I want to see what it does if it comes back into that $1.33. That $1.33 now is not going to bamboozle me again, Katina, man. Winners, how much? Good price? Wow, bro. That's a good look there, all-star game. 91. Look at that baby blue, sky blue, Katina, man.
It's one of his favorite blues.
He'll be wearing it on the after show, baby. Shout out to the Blue Jays. Gonna get some big. Did you actually buy Big League Chew? That's awesome. All right, so Faraday Futures encountering resistance at $1.50.
Yes. For one, I always forget how close we are to Bulk Barn, so now I might have to go to Bulk Barn after work. Shout out to Sean for reminding me, because we are like bizarrely close to a Bulk Barn actually at the studio. Also, yeah, so Ramin, the joke was Dodge Ram. That's what the joke was. Get it? Because Ram. So that was good. Bears versus Bulls got it. I did not get it. Shout out to Ramin and our lovely moderator, Bears versus Bulls.
But she chose the wrong manufacturer. The Ram is made by Dodge and Stellantis. She said GMC.
Yeah. But she was she was going for.
I know.
I thought that was pretty funny. Ramin combined them. They're all one. That would be Ramin's meme stock ETF. It would be GME and AMC.
There you go. There you go.
She called it GMC. But yeah, I got long GME, and we might regret this in a couple seconds. I want to see what we do with 30/20s. I know that's like 25 pennies a risk, but if I'm going to play GME, I have to play it a way that I'm comfortable with.
Nice.
I like that we were bouncing here off the 90 MA. That's what I want. I kind of want 31s. I'm also realistic and realize I'm probably not going to get 31s. But if we even like get into like, I'm risking 25 pennies, okay? I'm okay with like making not a ton here. If we get just below 31s, I'm comfy. If we get like 30/80s, 30/70s, top of this range, I'm comfy with that. This is a different kind of trade for me, but sometimes you have to go outside of your comfort zone because the market doesn't care if you're comfortable. No. I know that sounds like really jaded and weird, but you know what I mean? I learned from that NVIDIA. I was beating myself up, but it's like, you know what? The market literally does not care about your feelings, Adira. Fed investor is going to talk whether or not you were in that trade. And you have to have your dark night of the soul and just realize, hey, the market doesn't care about you. You have to do what you like. Really small position here, because again, if I'm going to take GME, I have to play it in a way that makes sense to me. We are literally flat on this, but hopefully we won't be for long, but don't take that the wrong way, GME. Please go up. Sincerely, Adira. How are you doing on MGN? That was a great trade.
Decent. Yeah, I'm still waiting at $12.70. For a fill. I've got a resting profit taker around there. Whether it goes filled or not, we'll see. Come what may. Don't really, I don't want to say I don't care, but I'm kind of agnostic to these trades now. I mean, you just got to be, Alfred said it the best. You got to be dead inside, baby. All right, so let's see what else is moving in these markets. I see you, Day Trader Cut. Day Trader Cut brought my attention to the Zuck train, and it's headed down today. Look, Meta, bad catalyst today out of Europe. They're going to be subject to investigation. How many times have we heard that, though? Governing body investigating one of these Mag 7s. It seems like it's every week now we're getting that. So Down we go on Meta, 1.5%, but this one ran bigly yesterday. Look at that move yesterday, that curl off that 470 on Meta. We ended up going all the way up to 482.5 before closing out at 451 and 2/3. Alas, today is down and to the right, finding some support at 473.5. Those were the IB lows right at the market open there. So we did find some support just a smidge below the $0.50 there, 473 1/3. It looks like a hammer candle forming now, though. Day trader cut going through that 474 1/3, looking to take that $0.50. We'll see if this one can propel back up. It's been having a whole lot of trouble with either the 10 or the 20. Take your pick. Initially was trying to hold the volume weighted average price, but it kind of flipped from using it as support to now using it as resistance. So META in some trouble on the day. We'll see what we get from this one. Yeah, so that's the look there. AMC's continuing to kind of move sideways a little bit here at the volume weighted average price, but it is that time for the lesson du jour, and sadly, I'm not going to allow this MGNI trade to trade while I'm doing the lesson, or should I? I mean, this one, the bottom can drop off anytime, though. That's the thing. So, guys, screen. That's the problem with this one. Is it a small cap gapper? And the small cap gappers, anything can happen at any time. So I don't want to nurse this one while I'm doing the lesson. So I'm going to get out here. Probably going to regret that, but that's all good because that's the way trading is. All right, guys, we are talking about the moving average crossover all week long. Today, no different. Today, though, we're going to get a little bit more nuanced with the lesson and talk about how to manage false signals and how to manage risk while employing the crossover strategy intraday. So let's get right to it. So traders, welcome aboard, baby. Moving average crossovers are powerful trend identifiers, but even the sharpest tools can generate false signals. Today, we'll learn how to navigate these false positives and try to manage risk effectively. So let's get right to it. So why are signals wrong? Like, why is the moving average crossover wrong? What are the reasons that have caused it to be wrong? So you imagine a perfect golden crossover, the 50 crosses above the 200. You enter a trade long based upon that, but the price plummets instead. What happened? Here are some reasons for that false signal. Market volatility. Erratic price swings can trigger crossovers that don't reflect the true trend shift. Prices might reverse quickly, leaving you basically holding the bag. It's a bit of a tougher, feeling there. And there's also the issue of random noise. Short-term price fluctuations can cause noise in the moving averages, leading to misleading crossovers, especially the shorter-term moving averages, like the 10 and the 20 and the like, right? So with that risk, how then do we protect our capital so that we can show up tomorrow and to trade? Well, here are some essential risk management techniques. Stop loss orders. Now, I know there's a whole host of theories about stop loss, no stop loss gang, all that kind of stuff. Look, the fact of the matter is, use stops. They can be mental. They don't have to be hard. They don't have to be resting. They don't have to be hard stops is what I'm trying to say. But employ them. If you want to use your flatten key and you have the discipline to hit it at a certain price, do it by all means. But just make sure it's repeatable so that you can always achieve kind of the same result, the same standard is there. So stop loss orders. In case you don't know what they are, basically they automatically exit your position if the price moves against you, limiting your potential losses, obviously. But there's also the issue of position sizing. Don't go all in on a single trade. Allocate a small percentage of your capital. It doesn't even have to be small. It could be a fixed 1 to 2%, 2 to 3%, whatever you can afford to use as a trader. This way, even a losing trade based on false signals won't devastate your account. And don't forget about the confirmation strategies that we talked about as well yesterday. Super important. If you didn't catch that lesson with us, go back and watch it. We talk about how to use other technical indicators like RSI, stochastics, price action volume with the moving average crossover in order to add that extra layer of confirmation to your trade. So as we discussed, combining crossovers with the momentum indicators or price action helps filter weak signals and identify stronger trends with lower risk. Building upon that whole concept of risk management, here are some additional tips. You can use volatility filters to help you assess what times to trade and what times not to trade. Here's what I mean by that. You can use the average true range, for example, ATR for short, or other volatility measures to avoid entering trades during excessively volatile periods where false signals are more likely. So here's a look. So if Apple has an ATR, I'm just giving you any number, 3, and its ATR on the day is 10, you know that Apple is more volatile today. As a result, if you're going to use moving average crossovers, the likelihood of a false signal coming in is higher. So you need to know which trading context you may have higher risk of false signals if you're going to employ this strategy. So ATR, a great way you can be able to tell, is the market more volatile today than others? Is this specific name that I want to trade, Disney, Apple, whatever, more volatile today as a result of a higher ATR? So keep that idea in mind. You also have the function of trailing stops. You see Neil use these all the time. He throws his trailing stop orders in the chat. He'll be like, hey, I'm long AMD, I'm in the money X, and I've moved my trailing stop up to this level, right? So these are automatic orders that adjust your stop loss as the price moves in your favor, locking in profits and helping limit potential losses on a reversal. And last but not least, guys, remember, risk management is not about avoiding losses altogether. It's about minimizing them, not avoiding them, but minimizing them and helping preserve your capital. And the takeaway from today's lesson should be basically always approach crossovers with a healthy dose of skepticism. Don't chase every signal. And by understanding the false signals and implementing your confirmation strategies like we talked about yesterday, as well as employing proper risk management techniques, you'll be well equipped to navigate the market and make informed trading decisions today.
Yeah, Steve, thank you so much for delivering and putting together that message, that lesson.
All good.
And I want to say, too, what I like about this lesson, too, is a little bit more cerebral, right? We talk a lot about the physical crossovers, but like, what do they mean? How do you deal with them? How do you parse through them? Like, how do you rake through all the leaves of all the mess and find ones that work for you? So thank you so much to Sharif for putting together that awesome lesson. Appreciate you. Also, I appreciate NVIDIA here. This is the type of thing I need to do more often, just focusing on one chart or two charts, just focus and find levels I like. I like these lower highs in NVIDIA, so I've just been scalping every lower high. And I noticed too, this is again, we're becoming very familiar with the book, has really helped me today. I noticed initially that 950.25 rejection, that's where I got in short number 2. Third short here, I got involved 949.70s, because that was an area we were kind of struggling with, and actually around where I exited my previous short. As long as we stay below that 950.25 previously, also, so just how I'm structuring these trades, I'm scalping out like $1-ish or less, usually less, I'm going to be honest, and then my stop for the next trade is going to be wherever the previous high was. So basically, I'm using my trades, whatever the previous trade, the entry point was, that's my stop for new trade. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I'm doing it. I don't like this little bottoming tail candle here, so this might be where the fun stops, but I like the lower highs and the flat bottom. That was the impetus for this trade, and I think if we can keep making those, part of me really wants 948.50s. I don't know if I'll get 948.50s, but I think it is possible. Initially, that was the goal with this trade that I got out too early. But like I said, too, if I see anything that makes me lose my confidence, we have to get out, because if you don't have confidence in a trade, what do you have? Honestly. Like, the levels are just one thing.
You better have Sean-fidence.
That's true, but Sean can have, by nature of it, Sean has confidence and confidence. Yeah. Every time. So we can't all have confidence, but we can have confidence, and we can always focus on learning, growing, still down in the day, because that NVIDIA master, pun intended, because it was one Fed master talk. But I'm not going to hold that against myself too harshly, because although my P&L will, because the whole point is you have to learn and grow. And that sounds really cheesy, cliched, but it's what you got to do sometimes. Also, Google below VWAP, this could get spicy. These tails, I think we could go either way. If we break up, I'll take it long. If we break down, I'll take it short. I also love this is happening around a whole dollar level. That's always going to be a bit of a spicy level for me. But hopefully, NVIDIA has the really spicy meatball. I do not like spice in my food, but I love it in these trades. NVIDIA, if you want to break below 949.50, holla at me. How are you doing?
I'm back in the dead one at the moment here. I'm calling it crazy, but I'm taking this one long. It reclaimed VWAP. This could be a perfunctory break and tank off of the volume-weighted average price. If it is, I already have my stop in place, so we'll take the L. Come what may, baby. The other one that I want to talk about, ASTS. Small cap gapper just showed up on my scanner. Let's pull it up here. Do I have it connected to that? Why is it connected to that? Bruh. All right, here we go. ASTS, guys. Good looker here on the chart. Let's flip to the 5 so we can get decent readings here, and I'll put the ticker in for you guys in a second. This bad boy obviously moved yesterday. You can see that big pump up there on the left side of the screen. That is in the aftermarket. Is this an earnings winner? What is this? Let's move back into yesterday. Earnings. Yeah, okay, so this is an earnings winner from yesterday here. ASTS continuing today. Kind of did bupkis early on. Didn't really do much. It did pop at the open there decently, but came back down, held $3. Amazing. $3.07. And since that time, it has been up and to the dang right. Ever since 11/20, it hasn't touched the 20 period. Yeah, 11/20 hasn't touched the 20. And it's been only bouncing off the 10. As you can see, that's a solid green line on said chart. Beautiful move here for ASTS. Sub 1 billion market cap, 983 million. It's done 53 million shares on the day, ample liquidity. The float is larger as expected, about 119 million shares on the float. So it's going to be a bit of a, I don't want to say it's going to be hard to move, but the point is it's not going to be as parabolically inclined as some of these, sub $1 million float stocks. So that's a look there. ASTS, if you're interested, I'm putting that on my side chart. I'm going to take off VFS because it's broken down now below the volume weighted average price. So ASTS gets a slot on the coveted side chart. ASTS, put the ticker in. Faraday Futures is halted to the high side, guys. This thing is an absolute rocket. 144% now. $1.72, it's where it's halted at. I really wanted that. Oh, man, that frustrates me because I was talking to Wainers about it when Neil was dropping hot lines. That $1.30, I tried to put it in again. It didn't come. It didn't fill. So, I'm going to look for something off the 10. Right now, the 10 is just a smidge below that $1.50. It's at $1.46. Let me tell you the tap on this one real quick. Likely is a little bit higher because it is a monster on the day. FFIE. Halted at 172. The tap is 172 right now, so no change in that auction at the moment. We'll keep you guys updated. It did halt. 1 second. FFIE. Oh, geez, Louise. It did halt at 12:34.36. So we're still really early. It's 12:37.10 right now. We have quite some, still a little bit of time before this one opens up. We'll keep eyes on said Faraday Futures. I'm long the dead one at the moment. I'm looking for a print at 46s. It does seem to be some resistance, and there is a big seller here, as you can see, at 45. So for whatever reason, there's a seller at 45, and it's preventing Apple, at least for the moment, from rising up into that $0.50. It's blocking me from getting filled. I chose randomly a level above that, and it's not printing me at the moment. So I'll continue to watch Apple. I'll continue to watch Faraday. MG&I broke, though, and so I'm happy I got out of that because that's the one that we were in long before the lesson, wet our beak on some profits, but now it's broken down below the 10, broken down below the 20, and you're about to get that 10-20 cross to the downside. That's no good. Speaking of moving average crossovers, Adair, we're about to get one.
Oof. Also, yeah, shout out on that Apple trade. I know you said call me crazy, but I would not call you crazy. I think that Apple's a nice look, and I think it's definitely in the midst of that upward move. Also in the midst of the upward move is Google. I've just made the sad beaker sound in the Muppet, but I wanted that one. I wanted to see what we did here. I like these wicks to the downside. I actually thought that this could have been a nice long, but then I was hemming, I was hawing, I was watching my buddy NVIDIA, and then I forgot about my pal Google. Now I don't know if I'm gonna get what I want. You know what, Kate? I don't want to chase too much. Initially, I wanted 174.05, so I don't think it's that. I mean, you can call me crazy, but show it to Sharif. But I want 174.10s. I think that's realistic. You know what I'm like with a 90 MA. I think a 90 MA break above would be great. But for right now, I would like to Tony the Tiger.
I know.
That was not at all a necessary reference.
You're great.
But this Google long would be great If we can come, just give me my 174.10s, pop back up, Google, you know what to do. If we break below that 174 with the viciousness, I'm going to have to leave. But I honestly don't even know if I'm going to get filled. I think I was a little bit too impatient. Tesla chopping and turning to, oh, that is TSA, which is the agency and not the stock. Yeah, Tesla, if you want to keep bouncing 175 to 175.30, don't mind if I do. Yeah.
The Katina Man's #1 P&L name today is Apple, and guess where it's off? 190. Ooh. Shocker, right? So shout out to him. Print Factory on that side of the desk off that 190 level. AAPL. It's breaking through VWAP now, but having trouble. I already wet my beak on the print at 145 there. The reason I took some out at 145, there is size. You can't see it right now, but when we were at the 45 print there, it definitely was encountering resistance, and it's coming back down now into the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. I de-risked by taking some out there so I can kind of rest easy a little bit here. Brendo did send me something. He said Meta Threads testing TweetDeck feature for power users. That's pretty cool because we were using that a lot. And so we'll see if TweetDeck can make a comeback. Apple just came right back in, topping till doji, well, not topping till doji, but a doji candle coming in here, which could show, you know, possible change here and a breakdown below the volume weighted average price. I'm gonna try to pack my patience here. The stop is already on the break of 20 pennies, so I'm just leaving that as it may, and basically looking for a bigger move up. But Faraday Futures is now open. So let's flip back to that. It's $1.88 now, HOD, and it is at day's high. Is it going to halt here? It looks like it may halt at this level, 189, 188 on the bid. It will halt here if it stays like this. Let's see. Nope, dipped. So false halt there, comes right back down. We'll see if it halts at that. Okay, there we go, 190 now, 193. So the algos keep this one from halting. So we'll see what this one can make it into $2, but it looks like 194, 193 on the bid will be the halt level. If we stay here for another 6 or 7 seconds, let's see if we get that halt up 173% right now. And I think we have another second or so before we halt. Let's see. No, it's still holding. There it is. So now it's halted to the high side. 193 is the halt level. 195 on the tap right now on Faraday. What a move up for this name, man. I want to show you the 50-minute chart on this name because it's been unrelenting, relentless. Shout out to my favorite energy drink. I did that because I know that I told you about that. But yeah, every day since the 14th, higher highs, higher lows. Today, really getting parabolic. It hadn't been as parabolic, I'd say, at least not from this view, until today. Let's zoom out a little bit, see where we could encounter some resistance. I mean, that $2 level obviously is a possible level here. This level, okay, this is interesting here. $3. 3 and change. There does seem to be a lot of bottoms ever since we popped up into that 5 1/4. Christmas tree retraced back into 3. So I'm going to say, you know, 3 is, I don't want to call it a definite level, but it's definitely one I'll be very interested in if this one continues to pump in the way that it's moving right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 3. Faraday Futures. Randy will be very. Say again. Okay, so, I'm getting notifications here from the big kahunas that we'd be moving right now. So I'm going to have to deal with this Apple trade quickly because we are coming down. So is my stop in place on this? What's going on here? Where is this? Oh, yeah, 1 second. I'm just want to see where my stop is in place. Yeah, I'll wait. It's at 22s. It stops out. It stops out. Let's have a look at what marijuana names are doing. Here we go. Let's move down to the weed watch list. And yes, MSOX. Look at it go. 13%. Holy, there's a lot of triangles there. Fantastic.
And scalping.
Yeah, I know. MSOX, huge. MSOS, excuse me. These are the two ETFs. The regular, and then I think it's a double levered ETF, right? MSOX, yeah, 2 times. They're up 6.5 and 12 and a fifth, respectively. Grow Generations up 5%. I know somebody was telling me to look at CGC. They were having a day. CGC right back up into day's highs. This one was tanking earlier, and then right back up we go into the volume weighted average price at 1045. Keep your eyes out on the weed names. They be moving, baby.
Yeah, so the reason I made that very strangled, excited sound is because was such a risky trade, and it still hasn't even paid off yet. Now, you might be thinking, Adara, you were waxing poetic about that flat bottom break in NVIDIA. Why would you take a look at that chart and say long? Well, it's because I've been watching this like a hawk, right? I really have. I was taking the lower highs, and then I realized, A, why are we, we're having a harder time breaking below, and B, every time we get to that 948.50, we bounce beautifully. So I said, Adara, I think you owe it to yourself, because if you feel so confident about this trade, if you're going to talk the talk in your head, I think you have to walk the walk. So I got involved 949.10s. When I got involved, that was kind of where we were holding up. And I said, you know what? We're going to risk into 948.50s. And we've bounced off 948.50s a couple times since I've gotten in. Every time we do, we hold it and we bounce. So I'm going to say, I don't know why I did that like a modern dance, but trading NVIDIA sometimes feels like that. So I initially wanted to really see that pop into 950s. I don't know if we're going to get it now, and I have to trade when I'm comfortable trading. I think we're getting some kind of pop, but if I can take 950s, I'll take that. I just don't love that we're having a harder and harder time. We're getting kind of consolidated, which I think could resolve either way, but in case it resolves against me, that's not something I want. The other thing to give me confluence and confidence in this trade is this gorgeous, beautiful, stunning VWAP bounce here for the TQs. Look at this. Look at this, okay? We had that rejection earlier, 63.75. Look where we bounced in confluence with VWAP. As long as we don't reject here, I'm cool staying in my NVDA for the time being. I think that 65s has also been a bit of a key level. I know I said my level is going to be that 48.50s, but that 48.65 I've noticed has also been a bit of a level here for NVDA. I'm aware this could flat bottom break, but I think sometimes if you have confidence in a trade, you have to take your trade within reason. And I don't think this was a crazy risky trade for me. Really, we got out. Really small size, pleased as punch. I probably could have taken a little bit more, but given that this was a bit more of an odd duck kind of trade, I wanted to make sure I traded in a way that made sense. So why does FFIE halt, says Rebecca Cower. Usually with halt situations is because I think it's like if a stock moves up more than 10% in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Sean is nodding to confirm. I got the Sean nod. So that was that's what happens with this FFIE. The patterns on this are great. Really nice look. Shout out to Sharif for killing this one earlier. And then or yesterday. But FFIE now halting, having this nice break to the upside. Nice look here for FFIE, but we got to that $2 level and we rejected. I feel like a sports announcer. Now I know why Sharif loves these stocks. These are crazy fun to watch. This FFIE. We broke above $2. Okay, this is going to be a really nice look. Let's see if we can keep popping up here. FFIE, you might think it might need a recharge for this EV, but it does not. Also, fun fact about FFIE, if you are someone who watches Selling Sunset, Jason Oppenheim, or I forget what Oppenheimer, I think Oppenheim Group, he has an FFIE. So that was a fun.
Really?
Yeah, he is a Faraday, because that was the whole promotional thing for them, that they were getting one of the guys from Selling Sunset.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, in a Faraday, so I thought that was cool. Also, yeah, I'm happy with the NVIDIA. I'm really proud of how I did this. And yeah, this was like a crazy.
That kind of looks like Sean's chart. I got to tell you the truth. Good for you, Adara, man.
Thank you.
That is, and you're doing this on NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. That's fantastic trade there, and way to keep your composure, obviously, with that. You're having to do the show. That's like.
You just gotta breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, what do we got over here? Still in this Apple trade, about 2 pennies out of the money. Already wet my beak on some profits, but it's putting in higher lows. So I'm just gonna hang tight here. Come what may, I don't really care. What else is going on? Meta knows no bottom today, even though it did get. You could make the argument, I don't know, kind of a bullish catalyst here with that whole, what's it called? What is that thing? TweetDeck? TweetDeck, okay. Yeah. Like 4 threads. All it's doing is coming right back into 473. It's been rejecting off the 10 period essentially all morning. The deeper retracements have gone into the 20. The more shallow have all rejected off the 10. So Meta on the way down right now. Well off that 481.5 print that we closed out at 4 o'clock yesterday. So not a good look for Meta, but the Cybertruck has been doing decent. Look at these, decent, I don't know, what do you call them? Bounces off the 20 period here. Higher lows, higher highs for the Cybertruck for TSLA. There was one, little area over here where it did bounce off VWAP and off that 174 area. So we were talking about using that area as a level of support, and did it ever? Because look at that, we're on our way possibly here to test that 175.5. There does seem to be a local area of resistance at 175.5, but I think we break through that, seeing that we broke it earlier and we're putting in higher lows. So showing that buyers are overwhelming sellers incrementally. I anticipate a $0.50 break on the TSLA. What else? Wow, Meta. Now we have to start thinking possible bounce here on Meta. I mean, well, do we? Why would I? I mean, it's not a good look for it. Do I really need to think that way? Now, look at this area over here. We spent from 10:35 yesterday till 11:45 at this exact level, 473. Do we encounter support here at 4? And I already know that low of the day is 472.85, but there is price action support at this level. This is a hell of a rounded top there. Shout out to the NOS boss. You can see that rounded top on the 5-minute. You needn't a wider time frame for that. So we'll see if this one holds up. META, bit of a tougher look on the day. I'm now back in the money on this Apple trade. It looks like it may want to break here. I mean, it's putting in higher lows, bouncing off the 10, rounded bottom off yesterday's closing print. I'm going to hold it. Let's see what comes, baby. We're already knocking on the door of 45s again. We knew that there was a seller there at 45s earlier, so we'll watch that. But the real action is not on Apple. It's on Faraday futures, halted at 216. Right now, the tap on my platform is showing $2.26 is the auction open price. That's about 10 pennies from where we're closed off at right now. 206%. In case you're just joining us and you don't know all the deets about Faraday, they're an electric vehicle maker. It's a $92 million market cap, even with this latest pump, still sub 100 million. On the day, it's done 791 million shares, ample liquidity, and the float is smaller, relatively speaking, about 37 million shares. So it can definitely get parabolic. So keep your eyes on that. Faraday. But Kraken to the high side is CRKN. Shout out to Big Michael Lloyd for calling this one. Here comes 20 pennies on Kraken. This one's up 330%, Ram Ram. How could you not like this chart? Ram Ram, even you will like this chart, Ram Ram. Shout out to you.
How many times do you say Ram
I know,
Ram in 30
she's like,
seconds?
you're gaslighting me all the time. She gets upset about that. So 20 pennies right there. We're at 20 pennies right now, HOD. Bouncing beautifully off the 10, CRKN, FFIE. It is a great day to be a small capper today.
Oh, indeed it is. It's a great day to be a small cap. I forgot, I never actually brought up my GME trade, and it wasn't because I was trying to avoid, because we went exactly according to plan. I just forgot I was in GME. So I'll talk about my GME trade because I'm really proud of how I managed it. Got involved at 30.45, held it really nicely. I was aware of I liked it because that was that previous resistance, right? I didn't love that kind of topping tail candle, and that was the biggest thing I was cognizant of in that trade. But I was like, you know what, Adara? Try it. You know, I think we could have that nice move up. We didn't. I risked 25 pennies, lost 25 pennies. You know what? That's something I'm totally comfortable with. Sometimes it's about how you manage the trade. So that is the trade on GME, because I just realized I totally, forgot to mention it. And we would be loath not to mention GME. Right now, though, looks like we're breaking lower, but we have had higher lows as well. We had the double bottom and then a higher low, so things could be switching. You know, I don't know if the games ever stop in GameStop. Also, I want to talk about this Google trade. Got involved. I know I mentioned this earlier that I really like this 174, and then I was too busy trying to go long NVIDIA, which I want to talk about that in a second because I got out, but I'm really proud that I was right about that idea. And I took profit on it too, just to clarify. But the Google, I sound like we know. The Google holding up here. We had that pop into 174.20s. We come back. We bounce off 174.05s. I'm risking, this is really tight. I'm risking 5 pennies. If we break below 174, see ya. I want about 174.20s. So that's that's the 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which for me is I could love that. I could live with that. So that's what I'm going for in Google. Don't know if I'll get it, but if Google can get off the schneid a little bit here, shout out to Neil, and the future suggests that it can, I think this is a nice look. But right now, I'm so proud of this call. I know I initially said NVIDIA looked kind of flat bottom break, right? But then I got in the long because I realized, hey, if we were going to flat bottom break, A, we might have done it already, okay? And B, look at these bottoming tail candles. To me, this was a very bullish looking chart. So I said to Dara, you owe it to yourself if you feel that confident about it, if you think you're all that, and if you think you're going to take this look at this ridiculously counter-trend move, I think you owe it yourself to try to take it with tight risk, which is what I did. I said, if as long as we bounce off 948.50, I'm okay with that. And we did, like so many times. So I breathed, stayed in the trade. We actually have had a higher, we eclipsed that earlier high as well for people who are not studying this book like a crazy person. The previous high on this was 949.70s-ish. Now we're breaking to 950. So my weird NVIDIA levels, if anyone cares, show me that NVIDIA is trying to pivot a little bit. So if there's some longs to take off support, I might take it. Go Google, putting the go in Google. How's your Apple going?
It's not really, it's kind of having trouble with the $0.50, but I'm just leaving it as it is. What I'm really focusing on right now is Kraken. Wowzers. 21 pennies. This one's really going, guys. Someone was saying FFIE halt suspended. It's a halt, guys. So apprise yourself of what halts are before you ever use real money using buying small caps, please. You really need to know what halt parameters are, how they work, how they function, the different types of halts. If you don't, my suggestion is to don't trade this. You got to understand that kind of stuff in order to manage risk effectively. But FFIE still halted. It's down halt now. 212 is the halt level, and the tap is 191. So it's well below right now the current halt level. Now, keep in mind that we have initial halt here at 193. So I don't want to say typically, but sometimes these halt levels act as areas of support and resistance. Look out for that, okay? But Kraken is absolutely flying. 23 pennies. It's about to go 400% on the day. It's done a zillion shares of volume. What a move up here for Kraken. CRKN. Shout out to Michael Lloyd for pointing this one out. I wouldn't have had eyes on it until it got to 85 pennies because that's how I filter my scanner. It looks like it may be on its way to about $0.25 right now. Huge move up here for Kraken. This one, we already said it was an earnings winner from yesterday, right? What was that? Let me just double check. No. See, why is CRKN moving? Let me find out for you guys. What's the headline here? CRKN. Oh, yeah. Crown Electronics shares are trading higher. The stock has seen interest from. Did they report? Yes. They did report yesterday. Okay, thank you for that. Funny enough, I'm not getting it on my blotter. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm not getting anything from their report on my blotter. Okay. While we don't need to concern ourselves too much with the catalyst, it's a technical break. If anything, it's on its way to 25 pennies now. 25 pennies HOD on this name, up 425%. I mean, I'm not getting it anywhere. I'm not chasing it here. The only way I would get this is off 20 pennies or 19 pennies. There is that crest top right there, so it was an area of resistance. I'd look for it to act as support, but right now it's just really flying. 25 pennies ain't coming. There's quite a bit of size here at the 25 penny level area. We'll see if it matters at all because this thing looks like it's absolutely headed to the high side. Wow, CRKN, going, baby. What else is going? The ZON. The ZON is starting to curl up a little bit here. Coming into the 20 period. AMZN, a bit of a double bottom at 185 and a fifth. That was the IB low right there. And then look at this, 12 o'clock, we also print 185 and a fifth. And now we're curling back up through 185 and 3/4 on the way into possibly here 186. 186 takes us green on the day on AMZN. So keep your eye out on that for a possible resistance level. If it can't break through 186, that could be an interesting short. The 50 period is also like 2 pennies below that 186 as well. So that would be interesting if it was a closing print 50 period rejection. But looks like a good possible double bottom off that 185 and a fifth Adair.
Yeah, I mean, I thank you so much to Kyle Burdett for that super chat, which I'm going to get to in a second here. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat, SPY long, which is,
That's what I said to him, like, what?
Is that like an M. Night Shyamalan movie in here? But no, seriously though, shout out to you, Kyle Burdett, and I think that's proof that if you like an idea, you can totally switch up your plan.
Bang.
So I'm actually going to go to the SPY first, and then, because that's actually kind of related to what I want to say. But this SPY here, look at 530.25, like, I love this level for so many reasons. A, this is just a great print. Like, look at that opportunities you get here. B, this was kind of a resistance support level earlier. So I love that call, Kyle Burdett. I was gonna say hope you're printing, but I know you're printing. So congrats to you, shout out to you. Big Kyle Burnett with a big plot twist, taking this big long. So I'm going to stop saying that now, but seriously though, shout out to you. Great supporter of the show, great friend of the show, and always, I really always appreciate, you know, looking at your trade ideas, your chart levels. I did get out of Google. We were pausing. Like I said, you got to scalpulate sometimes in these here markets. So I did scalpulate, took 10 pennies. I was risking 5, so you might think that's a small trade and you'd be right, but I need to get, you know, you sometimes just have to like take what you're comfortable with, and I'm trying to learn that. You know, I'm not gonna have like the big splashy like life-ending trade every day or ever yet, and that's okay, you don't need that. You need small moves, and with that in mind, I would like to congratulate my pal NVIDIA. Oh. Because look at this, I think this is what I meant, you know, when I said like, sometimes things will surprise you and patterns won't manifest. If you look at this looks like a flat bottom break on NVDA, I would say. And I was playing it like that, taking scalp short after scalp short after scalp short, as we kind of had proof that we were having a bit of an issue with this 948.50 area. Then when I noticed that kept holding, I said, Adara, try the long. And it looks like, oddly enough, this long might be holding now in NVIDIA. I will warn you, we are really struggling to get decisively above 950. And we have this little topping tail candle, which I don't love. So I think NVIDIA is, like, you know, it's still here to prove to you it's the king bamboozler of Bamboozlement Island. But yeah, I was just really proud of the call on that. Didn't take the whole breakout, but proud I had the impetus to take the trade. And I think sometimes that might matter as much as a win, not P&L wise, but you know, just in terms of practicing and getting better. I have had a bit of a rough week trading, but I had a good day yesterday, and I'm really proud. You know, other than that Mester move, we would have had a really good day today. And sometimes you just have to take what you like and work and practice. And I think that should matter as well.
Sorry, not FFIE, Kraken, absolute nuts here. It got to 31.50. We were talking about this at the $0.25. Wow, okay, so 31.50, but it had a big topping tail candle, came back right into 26 pennies, but the buyers were not done. It looks like are not done, because right back into 28 pennies we go. We'll see how the fight goes with that 10 penny area at 30 pennies. We did on this candle here 100 million shares on this 1 5-minute candle. I realize it's a quarter penny. Sorry, a quarter of a dollar. So, you know, the volume is obviously going to be far higher, but, you know, this is super interesting here as well. I did get stopped out of my Apple position for the remaining amount that I had. So this one breaks down. We only had a little piece left anyway, so all good. I was looking for the $0.50 break. It looks like the $0.50 break not forthcoming at the moment. Wow. So yeah, that's a little annoying too, because it pushed me out and then popped right back up. So you could tell they were stop hunting a little bit there. We'll see. We'll see if Apple curls back down, because it definitely could not clear VWAP. So if Apple starts curling back down, I could definitely be persuaded to take this monster long. Now look what's encountering resistance at, you know, I don't want to say predictable area, but it was kind of predictable. 185.93 is the high that this candle put in on AMZN. 186 is yesterday's closing print. We were down on Amazon on the day 0.09%. You also had the 50 period right there with Amazon. Now it's like 20 pennies off that, dipping down into $0.75. So good look there for whoever wanted to take that bad boy short. And Meta continues to come into the 10 period and reject off the 10 period. That's been a rinse and repeat trade all day. You know, when really things have gotten a little out of control for Meta, it's come into the 20 period, but that was really the only thing that could have pushed you out of that trade. So good look here for META for the shorts. Great look for whoever was sitting there at Amazon at 185 low 90s. And what else is going on over here? Let's go back into the small cappers. Kraken right back into 29 pennies here, about to take that 30 penny level. But that's not the only one that's going. ASTS continues to go now. This one up. This is the one that reported earnings yesterday. So that's the one that I was confusing CRKN with. ASTS had big boy earnings there after the bell at 4 o'clock, and it's continuing today. Faraday halted. Okay, so Faraday was halted for, looks like, a bit there, all the way back down for Faraday. Here's the 1 minute look on Faraday. It's going to halt again at $1.75. There was a level here at $1.72. That was a previous halt level. It looks as if it will halt here. Is it halted? Yes, now it is halted. Faraday halted down. HOD 235 now halted down at 175. There could be support here at 172. Right now, though, doesn't look that way because the tap is coming in at 160. So 15 pennies below that halt level. Faraday be headed down.
Yeah, Faraday, I guess not too fair of a look for Faraday. I did try this NVIDIA again here. I liked that we had, so I did say we had the topping tail candle, and then we had this nice little bullish push into 950. To say that my entry point here was like, is kind of an understatement, but we had that break below 949, which is what I was looking for, so I'm gonna have to get out of the NVDA train right now as we head into the lesson of the day. Come on, NVIDIA. Let's let Adair out, okay? I know you're a little bit spreadier, but you know, be respectful. But yeah, I'm happy. You know what? I did lose on this last trade here after having some winners on it, but I didn't want to not take it. You know what I mean? Just because we had, and honestly, like still, I was down in the name anyway, and I didn't give up all those gains because it's like you have to take stuff you like. One of the hardest things I've noticed since going live, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, so I apologize for repeating myself, like not trading P&L. That's been really difficult, is not trading P&L, because you want to protect the bag. But I think also it's like your idea could help fatten your bag. It could fatten your wallet as well. You know what I mean? You could risk on it.
Oh, yeah.
But you could also gain on it. And NVIDIA, it was a really nice look. It was holding well. I would also argue, I know I got in way too high on that. I will say that was my biggest issue. My second issue, could have risked a little bit more. But you know what? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Where's the next trade? I'm not giving, if I see more stuff I like, I'm still going to try to take it. Nice. So I think that's what matters to some extent as well. But you know what else matters is learning, lessons. We're not called how to trade for no reason, okay? Okay, we got a method to our madness. And right now that madness is the lesson. That is not Neil's lesson of the day, but our lesson. So let's talk about managing false signals and risking crossovers, because I mean, the markets love false signals. False signal could be like their middle name, okay? They love chopping you up, getting you all confused, and you just have to learn how to deal with that, especially if it's gonna be in an indicator. You're gonna use that indicator as part of the impetus for your trade. So why can signals be wrong? You've got like this a golden crossover. It's a great look. You love it. You're obsessed. And you enter a long trade based on that. But then the price sinks like a stone. Why did that happen? Well, here's some ways you can figure out with these false signals. Market volatility is, I think, really key. So if you have these erratic price swings, they can trigger crossovers that don't reflect a true trend shift. So prices can reverse quickly, leaving you holding a losing position or bag holding. You know what I mean? Random noise is also part of this as well. These markets have a lot of random noise, and that can really trip you out as a trader. It's why you have to, and something I'm still learning how to isolate and figure out, and not very well, is with these short-term price fluctuations, it can cause noise in your moving averages, which can lead to misleading crossovers, especially with shorter MAs. But how do you protect your capital, which we were just talking about here, right? How do you do that? How do you navigate false signals? Here's some helpful hints. So stop loss orders. You know, we're not pro stop. Sorry, I banged the table there. Okay. We're not like, you know, no stop loss gang, right? You want to have some kind of stop loss, some kind of plan. Yeah. They don't always trigger, but it's like as long as you know, if it doesn't trigger, I want to get out here. This is what you need to do. You know what I mean? I think that's really key. And this is the biggest thing too I've noticed as well as a newer trader. If you don't have a plan for where you're going to stop loss before you enter a trade, it's going to get kind of messy. You have to have your plan to exit. So stop loss orders can help, especially in a case where the trade will get a little bit herky-jerky, go against you, not move how you thought it was going to move. So place them below your entry point for long trades and above for short trades. And they will automatically exit your position if the price moves against you, which can limit potential losses. Let's talk about position sizing as well. You don't want to go all in on a single trade. You want to allocate a small percentage of your capital, or 1 to 2% per trade, and this way, even a losing trade based on a false signal won't devastate your account. Also, the thing is too, is if you're not going to use percentage, like think about the percentage compared to what you normally trade. Like GME, I traded on the lower end of the share size I'll normally allocate. You know what I mean? It really depends on crossovers, on the intensity. If you have less confirmation, maybe you want to be a little bit more careful. And that reminds me, confirmation, or confluence, as we might call it. You really want to combine crossovers with confirmation from momentum indicators or price action to help filter out weak signals and identify stronger trends with lower risk. Because if you're more confident or confident, you're more likely you're more likely to execute the trade to the best of your abilities. And I think that's that's pretty spiffy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk as well, I don't know why I said like spiffy like an old man. Let's talk as well about risk management. So here are some extra tips. Maybe you want a volatility filter, like an average true range or other volatility measures to avoid entering trades during excessively volatile periods where false signals are more likely to get you all tripped up. Trailing stops are great as well. Shout out to Neil, who will always, not always, but he often has his trading stops out, and he'll put those in the chat as well, as Sharif alluded to. Trailing stops are great because they can adjust your price moves adjust the stop loss as the price moves in your favor, so you can limit your gains as well and limit potential losses in a reversal, which I think, and just so you don't want to limit your gains, you want to maximize your gains. We're not pro-limiting gains over here. That was a typo on my part. And you also want to make sure to remember that risk management's not about avoiding losses altogether. And I think I really like that this is in this at PowerPoint as well, because I think it's really important. You're going to lose. But the point is, A, will you lose less than you make? And B, can you minimize those losses so that the gains are maximized? And that's what the whole point of risk management is. But the moral of the story, always approach crossovers like any indicator on its own with heavy skepticism. You don't want to chase every signal. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's not what you do here. And last but not least, you want to understand false signals so that you can implement confirmation strategies and employ proper risk management to be more appropriately equipped to navigate the market and make informed trading decisions. GME, what are you doing? He's up he just popped up 70 cents over the course of that lesson. But yeah.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass it over to you.
No problem. Yeah, I'm trying to get in the 50 period here on Tesla. We'll see how this one goes. I'm kind of regretting this trade. I think I jumped into it a little too quickly. So, yeah, this is probably not going to go my way here. Let me cancel this order for this buy. Yeah, I don't want to buy that. So I'll leave that as it is. Now it's coming down to my level. I need to cover GME because really that's the one that's moving at the moment. So I'm just going to let Tesla do its thing, and come what may, the stop's in place. So GME's moving up big, but so is AMC. So shout out to Havana Woody. He was mentioning this. He's like, memes are back, baby, and I hope so because this will be great for the show. 495 is a bit of a local top here on AMC, so we'll see if we can break that. I want to see what we do with 5. You saw this candle over here take us right below 5 into 499, and then we came right back down and ended up closing at 482. So now we're starting to stair step our way back into those levels rather than having these one-off wicking candles. Wham, bam, thank you AMC. Let's see if this one can curl back above $5 again. VWAP on GME a little farther from the price action where GME is right now, as opposed to AMC where it just touched it. So 31.90. The volume weighted average price on GME, that's about $1 from where we're trading right now. It's only about a penny or so from where we're trading on AMC. So keep your eyes on these ones. Both having a big, I don't want to call it big, but a decent surge up midday right now. So good look there for those two names. What else we got? Faraday halted to the high side again this time. So it did make its way down into that $161. Now it's halted at 185 exactly. We'll see what this one brings. Kraken putting in topping tail candles through 30, but still putting in higher lows here, trying to hold that $0.25. So decent look there for Kraken. And then ASTS also decent move here coming into the 20 period. This could be an interesting retracement, but this is the second time in not so long that we're coming into the 20 period. You don't want to see too many 20 period retracements on a trending stock. I feel like it gives you the signal that it may start to turn around here. Look for a possible 365 break there, and then maybe a move down to 345. So a bit of weakness now starting to come in here on ASTS, especially if it doesn't hold that 20. Keep your eye out on that. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out on the memes, and we'll keep an eye out on Tesla because it is holding the 50 period right now. Adara, I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, I think I like your Tesla look. I think that's a really nice level. Also, I want to talk about NVIDIA because I did get back in this, and this is the type of scalping I want to do. Now, I did have that long that went against me, not this one, but the second one here, and that's because, as I mentioned, literally could probably not have gotten a worse price than that if I tried. Maybe I did. No, I'm joking. But no, the issue was I just saw that we were going up, and I was so proud of myself for calling out the long that I was like, oh, we'll keep going from here. It's like, Adara, that's not how you trade. Like the reason I had these shorts that worked out okay for me was because these were based on highly specific levels, right? They were based on clear rejections. I had a clear area I wanted to take profit out, rinse, repeat, right? So this first long worked as well because I was just flipping the mentality and the levels I was using on my shorts for my longs. I didn't do that in this long, and that's why I got chopped up. That's my theory anyway. But then the reason I got back involved was because I was like, Adara, if we're still seeing these rejections, and it's not a long right now, and you like your levels, ... No, I'm joking, there were only 3 ellipses. That's why I went short. I was really cautious as well. The goal here, the dream would have been 948.70s because that was the level we kept projecting off earlier. But then I realized we were having a harder and harder time in the book. I said, Adara, if you can get out at like 20s, be happy. So I took like 20-something pennies on this NVIDIA. Please just punch. I was risking up into 950s. We didn't get that, so I was pretty happy. But again, it looked like we're reversing, but I'm not going to hop into a trade unless I see something I like, because just getting long at NVIDIA near 950 does not a great decision make. So that's what we're trying to learn from. Please just punch. And honestly, like, if I can learn a little bit from every trade, I'm okay from that. Obviously, profiting would be great too, but you got to start with baby steps. And really happy to be here. Ponzi Fonzie putting "Don't go chasing Bitcoin" in the chat, which is probably a pretty apt point. Let's take a look at IBIT. Oh, yeah, I mean, this is. Okay, I kind of love this level though on Bitcoin, on this IBIT. Look at this, 37.30. Okay, oh, I just saw another, I did my chart. Look at this. We have this gorgeous little bullish candle, right? Look at this. This is what, 37.42. We wick down into 37.30s, pop right back up. Then we have nice little resistance, 37.30s, try to wick above it, can't, shoop. Then look where we reject again. 37.30s. Mind you, we could be curling back up here, but I think that 37.30s is a great look. So what's everybody else looking at? McDonald's high of day burger emoji, says Damian Oliveras, although to be fair, he didn't say the burger emoji. He just included it. So I think that's a nice look. Also, this is a really funny super chat from Big Kyle Burdett, but I'm going to take a look at McDonald's first. McDonald's high of day. Okay, okay. Yeah, this is an interesting look as well. Not like crazy clear or anything, but I do like that we had that resistance around 275. Then we bounce again, reject, try again, pop up, try one more time. There we go. That's what McDonald's needed, that 275, that one last time. Burger combo there to the upside. McFlurry buyers are all McFlurry in here. That worked better in my head. But yeah, volume not great here, below 1 million. Let's take a look at the daily. Thank you, Damian Oliveras, for pointing this one out because I would not have thought of it. Oh, okay. I like this level. It's not exact, but it's around 278. Bounce, lower high, flat bottom break on the daily chart to the downside. Then, look, we tested again. We're like, can I go to 278? And McDonald's chart's like, not yet. Back to the downside. There's a massive support and resistance for me, at least on the daily chart, 278. We're trying to recover back towards that, but I think this is an interesting look, and thank you, Damian Oliveras, for putting this one out to us. And we also do have that super chat from Big Kyle Burdett.
Big Kyle, what do I do with a long just hold forever? Because stocks only go up. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. Yeah, I mean, no, look, man. You know how this works, Kyle. These are around for a good time. So we're going to continue to cover him. Him and I were talking about that already. So Big Kyle knows what's up. And, he also sent me, I should probably show this. I'll show it in a second while I set it up. He sent me his trade on the SPY, so I want to cover that. All right, so I got stopped out of the Cybertruck there. I got strong-armed out of this trade. It's holding the 50, but it did wick down into the 50 penny level. It's holding the 50 period. It did wick out into the 50 penny level, so I ended up getting stopped out there. But I'm doing well here on the soft one, about 25 pennies in the money, taking a nice 20 period rejection off the 5 on Softy. Softy's been weak all day, and it's been hugging the 10. The first time it's made its way up into the 20 since this candle at 11:35. So I said, hey, let's just get short. And we already wet our beak on some profits. I'd like, ideally, what's the profit target here? Maybe a move into the $0.50, 422.5. We'll cover there. Decent move down for the soft one right now. But that Cybertruck did put me in negatory land on the day. So I'm very marginally negative on the day, sadly. The first negative day I'm going to have this week. But we'll see. We'll see if we end up that way right now on this day. So decent move right now on Softy. And I'm still looking at the Cybertruck, even though, you know, I don't need to prove to myself anything that I can trade Tesla or anything like that. So I'll continue to watch that. The one that I really was upset about that I didn't trade as accurately as I wanted to, I was setting up for a short here on Apple at 145, 144. I said, look, you know, this is presenting you with an obvious top. You could size into this area over here because it's doing ample amount of liquidity, and then just cover for a 20 penny, 15 penny winner on at VWAP or just a smidge below VWAP. And then I just hesitated. I don't know why, because I think I was down on Tesla, so I didn't want to get punched twice in the face. But in any event, decent move here. Look at Softy breaking the $half level. There is where I'm going to cover. Pleased about that. Down stocks, says the Katina man. And I'm pleased with this short here on the soft one. 20 period retracement on the 5. It hadn't touched the 20 since 11:35, which got my attention, got in, punched short, and printed nicely for a 35 penny winner on that last here trade. So we'll continue to watch that. What else we got? Let's look at these small caps super quick now. Because, well, they've been doing a whole bunch of stuff today. So Kraken hanging out at 26 pennies. It is putting in these bottoming tail candles. There does seem to be a buyer here at 25 pennies, Mr. Michael Lloyd. I don't know how you feel about this one, but this one looks awfully interesting to me with 25 pennies acting as a very good area of support right now on CRK. And let's just make sure that the current price action is what it is. Yeah, 25 pennies seems to be interesting. We are getting lower highs, which could lead to a flat bottom break, but let's see if that ends up happening. ASTS, oh baby, this one's coming into an interesting level here. The 50 period, as well as this crest from the open, this could be a long here at 360 on ASTS. I don't even know why I did that. Yeah, I know, right? No, seriously though, the institutional level prints take you to that 360-ish, 355-ish. That IB high crest takes you to that same level, and then the 50 period staring at you in the face. ASTS, interesting look at this level right now. This is an earnings winner from yesterday that's continuing today, so good look for them. Let's load that side. Let's load it up on a trading screen over here. Let's get rid of the Cybertruck because I don't want to see that thing again. But decent move here for ASTS. You know, along here, and you risk maybe to the $half break, which is 12 pennies currently from the current price action, to make maybe 28 pennies, because 388 HOD, you assume maybe you even get above that. Whoa, something happened on the future. The future's tanking. The future's absolutely tanking. We just, well, not tanking, but you know what, we went down. Into, shout out to the Katina man, he's printed on the Amazon short. And he short Tesla as well. It came into 18.7. I don't think that there's anything scheduled for right now. So I'm a little unsure as to what this might be, but we'll, if we get anything, guys, we'll obviously let you know. That goes without saying. But I don't want to call it a tank, but it was a little abrupt there. We were trading in the 18.7, mid-30s, and then we just dropped all the way down to 18.7. Obviously, an important level because it is the 100-point level. So I always look at 100-point levels for areas of support and resistance. Let's see what this brings. We're right back down to 18.7. Here we go. The NQ possibly about to go negative on the day. To stay above negatory land, we got to maintain 18.690. Look at it go down, bro. What is happening here? So something's afoot with these here markets. Tesla, everything on the way down, guys. Big moves down midday. Something's afoot, and I don't know what. We'll get that to you soon.
Yeah, we will get to that to you soon. This is now the second time that I've gotten into a trade I really liked, and the second I get in, the market's like, no, you don't. It's okay. You know, it's okay, Sharif. I'm honestly, in a way, I'm kind of happy because it kind of teaches you gotta get that garbage out of your brain. As Sean says, get that garbage out of here. I can't blame myself for this. No. You know what I mean? Apple, I was trying to plan on risking 190.26, and Apple's like, that's really funny. Before I could even get everything set up, falls to the downside. But you know what? It's okay. You know, I'm not, you know, and I want to congratulate you. You said, Sharif, like the rest of the days this week you've been positive. That's a great look, and congrats to you. I've had a harder week this week. I'm going to be really honest, and I've been pretty upfront about that. I was, you know, got shut down for the first time on Monday. And you know, honestly, I think sometimes you have to have these hard weeks so you can reflect, realize what could I have done better. And you can't blame yourself for everything either, which I appreciate Sharif and I were having this conversation at lunch when I was like, oh, the master thing. And he's like, that's not your fault, right? Which I think is, a good point. It's just really how do you manage once you're in these situations? I think it goes back to, the mental. I need to get, I think I need to get more, I need to get better at the mental aspect, which is maybe something I'm not, but just, honestly always happy to be trading in front of everybody here because we have these experiences together. The market chops all of us out. Or in Sean's case, it gives us all great looks. How's the sticky note going?
It's fantastic because he passed me the sticky note. It's so annoying how he gets these all the time. It's not annoying, but you guys know what I mean. 176 short sale Tesla, right? That's why I've got this one up. It says, weaker than the market looking for false pops. I love it, man. And look where it popped up into, like 10 cents below that level. So shout out to the Katina, man. Great trade on TSLA there. Yes, I see everything, guys. We see it. Big market drop. I still don't have an update as to what is going on. Yeah, sometimes you just get these kind of market drops and we don't really get the deets as to why until a little bit later, right? Sometimes it really doesn't matter, especially if you're a technical trader, but just, for viewership, a lot of people want to know why, so we try to cover that for you guys. But keeping an eye on the market, it's definitely in negatory land, but very, very minuscule negatory land. 0.03% is trying right now to come back above that level. Apple, everything broke, right? So we had Softy break, Google break, NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, they all broke. But the thing about this one is I'm looking at 190 on said AAPL. 190, important level, obviously goes without saying, a technical level because it is a $10 level and it's also $10 off that all-time high. So I want to see if there will be 190 support on the dead one today. Right now it's at 190, so it looks like there's all sorts of tug of war happen between buyers and sellers at these here levels. If we hold up at this level, ironically enough, it'll be another higher high on AAPL, which is funny. Higher low, excuse me, on AAPL with the low being at that 1120 area at yesterday's closing print, 189.73. Troughed again at 12 o'clock, and then a higher trough this time at 190. It's bouncing here, putting a hammer candle coming in here super quick, so we'll keep eyes on that. Big Kyle Burdett, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Everyone should have known the top was in when I went long. Shout out to you, Kyle. I wrote it to you in the chat, man. I'm like, what? You're going long? Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. I'm not happy that you got stopped out, Kyle, but I know that you have a lot more tenacity and endurance than that. You're going to be back tomorrow. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett because, these things happen on the market. So keeping an eye here.
Yeah, Kyle is someone who is obviously not short biased to the extent that you are short biased, but as someone who I think I am a little bit more short biased, I definitely feel you. It's hard when you try to go long and then the market's like, like most of my trades that were more successful today were actually the shorts, even though we were mostly up on the day, right? So it's like you get into a groove, you try to do something different. The markets tell you, but honestly, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, everybody. I'm always so happy that people are here. You all, Raina, name dropping these wheat stocks. Let's take a look at CGC and its pal, A to the C to the B. Oh, CGC, yeah, like this is. The only level I can kind of see here that's interesting is this 1060s, right? And it's not just kind of interesting, it's very interesting. Look at this VWAP chop and turn here around 1040. We fall below, we come back. Nice little chop and turn VWAP bounce around 1060. And then CGC is like, I would like to, I want to give people all the smoke. I want all the smoke. So CGC took a puff pass to the upside. Nice look there. Let's take a look at ACB in the place to be. ACB, nice look as well. To me, there's a bit less of like a level here. Like if I were going to trade one of them, which I don't know if I would, I prefer the look of CGC because I do think we had that nice little VWAP bounce in that area previously. Also, I want to talk about, actually, no, I don't want to talk about that because I'm not seeing that level anymore. What else am I looking at here? Yeah, TQ is at a nice bounce off the bottom here. This is gorgeous. I was looking at that and then I didn't get involved. But one thing too is if we have this little bit of a rejection, I guess we were already kind of 5 pennies above that area. But look at this 63.55. We bounce off VWAP. We come below. We have this nice double bottom. And then we kind of struggle. We give up the ghost just as ghost. So if we keep rejecting here, I'm going to go short. I don't want it to be a revenge trade. I want it to be a trade that makes sense on levels that I like. And I do like these levels. So we're going to, if we break above 60s, we'll get out. I've been trying to get more into the habit of taking really, really small risk for trades that I really like. And that, you know, if you do badly, then you don't miss that much. And if you do well, it works out. I want to be getting into at least 63.40s. I think we're probably going to have to leave this before I even have that opportunity, but I like this look. Shout out as well to Baron. Thank you so much to the $10 super chat. Shout out to Neil Roberts for his opportunity cost lesson of the day a couple weeks ago. Just cleaned up on some SPY puts. Love the lessons, y'all. Thank you very much, Baron. We love all the support in chat. We love everybody here in the chat. We literally could not do it without everyone here, and I always feel, you know, so emboldened and so supported. I'm always so happy to be a part of this community. The markets, you know, slap us all in the face collectively, and then when we do well, hopefully we're all printing. Yeah. Thank you as well to the TQQs for you trying to give me a little bit of money right now, and I see you, girl. I see you, Qs. Let's get into 40s, though. I'd be pleased as punch about that. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just got back from said washroom. Americans will have no idea what a washroom is, but that's okay.
Is that actually not a thing there?
When I go down to LA, or not LA, but in SoCal, by happenstance, because it's like force a habit, right? I'm like, hey, where's the washroom? And then you just get like this dead stare. Like, what? What's a washroom? I've never heard of people washing themselves in a room before, right? Like, no, they don't know. So then you have to correct yourself super quick. You're like, where's the bathroom? Where's the toilet? Or whatever. I end up saying at the time. So, all right, guys, AMC's been, something's afoot here, guys, with AMC. I think we're going to get a flat top. I don't know. I don't want to say I think we're going to get a flat top break, but we've been hugging this volume weighted average price since 11:55. So this is an hour and a half now. We've been hugging the volume weighted average price at this level. I mean, we're getting higher lows too. That's the thing. So, you know, the buyers are not letting this come down nearly as much as it had prior to. Initially, it was a 4 1/3 hold up. Now it's a 4 1/4, 3/4 hold up. We'll see. AMC could be an interesting trade in the afternoon if that level is to break. Kraken came back into the 10, bounced back up, right back into near high of day, 31.50, 31.5 pennies. That's what I mean. ASTS, I should have had a dip trade at the 50 for this one. We mentioned this one. We mentioned this, all these levels. I ended up taking it, but that's fine. ASTS doing well right now. Faraday still at $1.75. It's halted multiple times now to the upside and downside. The latest halt was to the downside. There is this 160 support level here, but this 172 level is the level that I've been looking at because I like to use these previous halt levels, if there aren't too many halts, as either areas of support and resistance. So we'll see if this $1.70, $1.75 can hold up. It looks like it may be putting in a topping tail candle now and possibly on the way down. So FFIE continuing to feature. MGNI, this one now could be interesting. So we've gotten a 10 break. We've gotten a 20 break. Now we have possibly the last line in the sand, I guess, is the volume weighted average price because it's overlapping with the 50. So we'll see if it holds up here. MGNI, decent day, but it's been selling off and the volume's been dropping off a little bit here. I could be persuaded to get into this on a dip trade at 12.15, about 10 pennies from where we're at now. MGNI continuing to print. There goes AMC through the volume weighted average price. I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen. Now we're going to have to break above 5. So we already topped out there initially at this candle here at 1 o'clock where we got into 4.99 and tanked. Not tanked, but rejected. This candle has another 4.99, so now we got to load up the time and sales to see what is afoot with AMC. So let's go back into New York. So how much size is on 99s? I don't even see that much size on 99s. The size is on 5s, but every time we keep rejecting off 99s. Did we get a 5 print? Yeah, we did get a 5 print. So this candle here does have a 5 print, but we're not breaking through 5. So we're going to have to watch until this comes back into 5 so I can see the size a little bit clearer here. But AMC trying its darndest right now to break through that level. It's been putting in higher lows. Let's see if it can put it, well, it did put in a bit on a higher high, but it's got to break through 5 really to get everybody excited. So AMC on watch.
I have kind of a really probably nuts idea, and I want to see if it comes to fruition. And it's NVIDIA 948.50 short.
All right.
Now, I've been talking about NVIDIA 948.50 maybe a lot today. I think, you know, if you were to do what Sundar Pichai did during their Gemini event, and we're like, oh, we had Gemini count how many times we said AI in the event, and it was 100 or 120. If you did that with me saying NVIDIA 948.50, probably be a gross number. I've said it a lot. But I mean, just look, Exhibit A, like bounce, bounce. Flat bottom break. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, wait, yes, it is. So to me, this level is just so key. Oh, Sean's long AMD. So let's take a look at AMD here.
He's long out 165
So he's
flat.
already a cool fifth of a dollar in the money. This is a great look there. Shout out to Sean. Nice look. But yeah, so this NVIDIA, basically my thesis on this is because that was such a strong level of support earlier, I think if it resists, it can do so with a ferocity. However, if we keep rejecting at 947, I'm not going to say I have no qualms about taking it short. I have some qualms, but I have very few qualms about taking it short at 947 because we've been rejecting this quite a bit here on the book. Like I said, the big white whale, the big level that I really want, my, you know, Moby Dick, if you're thinking like the book and the guy really obsessed with the whale, the one that I really want is the 948.50, like salivating to use a Sharifism. That's my look. Also, I like that Tesla VWAP bounce. I didn't get it, and I'm way more focused on my NVIDIA rejection, so I'm going to let her do her thing, 21. Yes, NVIDIA, you heard me. You know who you are.
I like it. I'm back in Apple trying for this 190 defend. I'm going to have a tight stop here. We'll see what we get here. But it kind of like kept coming into 190, bouncing up again. It's at 99s right now. I'm long 02, so back in my patience. We're right back above 18.7 on the fuge, but we really haven't even made it back into VWAP. And there's definite resistance at VWAP, not just because of VWAP, but because these bottoming tail candles were coming in there as well. So you do have price action resistance at that same level. You also have a crest earlier that showed that you did encounter resistance at this level, even random though it may be. The fact of the matter is it did hold up at that previous level. So I'm gonna, you know, come what may here. We'll see if we get a curl back up on AAPL. I'm just gonna leave that. The stop is already in place. Now, what I want is I was talking to Nick Dubb. Well, actually, I wasn't so much as talking as he was telling me MGNI. He likes it at these levels, and so do I. So let's go ahead and move over. Do we still have MGNI? Okay, so I'm going to take off Softy here. We'll put on MGNI, which I believe is on the NQ. Let's flip back, 12.15. I'm going to pack my patience here, Nick, because you know, it's at VWAP right now, so what's the hurry? It's not like I'm gonna miss it. It's at VWAP. So if it continues to head down, I want it to show me some proof that it's gonna curl back up off here. MGNI up 24%, but it's been selling off. It put in a bit of a top at around, you know, 10 to 12, maybe right at 12, and it's broken all the support levels right now. The only one that's left for it really is not the support levels, the technical support levels. The only one that's left really is this volume weighted average price. So if we get a pop off this, I'll get long. If not, I'll just stay put here. And it does look like it's finding some price action support, and it's going without me here. So I'm going long on this name. I'm gonna take my out at 1209s or whatever around that level. We'll see what we get with this one. ASTS is also headed back up a little bit here. So good look for both names, Adair.
Yeah, so I had that NVIDIA level that 947 did end up hitting. I realized I wasn't gonna get my 948.50s, but it's like a Dara confidence or whatever my version of that is. And I was like, I like this rejection, just scalp it. And I put my entry in, and then NVIDIA's like, drops without me. I'm like, that's cool. You know what, NVIDIA? I can wait for you. I can be patient. You know, like maybe, you know, a couple of years down the line, we'll see each other at the grocery store, and that's when the spark will connect. Maybe, you know, a couple minutes later, that's when you'll try to reject off your 950, 947 again. I'm going to leave this be for now. I don't want to have like a resting order and have this hit, and then I get, you know, slapped in the face by NVIDIA, which is probably like maybe the last stock you want to slap you in the face other than SMCI. So I'm going to be watching and waiting, though. Sometimes you have to be patient. Scheming, plotting, scheming, getting money, to quote Drake, in furthest thing. Yeah, and hopefully NVIDIA keeps being the furthest thing from a pop, because I do want that short. SMCI, though, as well. I can't believe SMCI is now cheaper than NVIDIA. I don't know when that happened. Right now, though, SMCI 922s. Interesting level here for me. We tried to have a double bottom at 922s, and then had a little bit of a chop and churn, shoot to the downside, came back up. Now we're rejecting off 922s again. So SMCI, bit of a slippery fellow. Looked like a nice pop-up, and then this VWAP chop and churn, and then it just, instead of chop and churn, it dropped and turned. So nice look there. Tesla, if I were to go long, oh, it just pressed A. T to the S to the L to the A. If I were to trade Tesla, or if I were to trade May16 stock long, initially I like that VWAP Tesla bounce. Now I don't. Now I think we're massively oh, this is it's a good level for a short. Sorry, I had to stop talking there. So mesmerized. 174.40 short here. If I can't get my NVIDIA, I'm getting this Tesla short. I don't love that we might not be able to break VWAP, but I think the fact that we have these lower highs and a flat bottom, okay, the more I talk, the more I basically just like convince myself I love this. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I talk myself into it way. I mean that in like, I really like this and I want this trade. So we're gonna get involved if we break decisively above 45, so I'm gonna get out. NVIDIA, I'm still waiting for you. I will drop Tesla in a heartbeat and take you to prom.
I like that.
How's MG and I?
We're what are we? We're 4 pennies out of the money right now. It's still holding VWAP. I've already put my stop. I mean, I'm less convinced about this one than I have been about others in the past. I wish I would have traded ASTS or Kraken, but that's neither here nor there. So if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. It's about 10 pennies below my entry, so risking decent amount here. I did also, sadly, get stopped at Apple because it did wick me out, and then right back above 190 it goes again, but it's putting in bottoming tail candles. So call me crazy, but I'm cruising for a bruising here on AA, and I literally got bottom wick. That's so frustrating on Apple. 190 is a level. Now it's just about, do I get weaseled out of this trade or not? And I know it's a level because everybody's been watching 190 all day long. Whatever. We could be persuaded to get into this monster again, I guess. Right? Well, we'll go long again. Yeah, I'll go long again here. And I'll put my stop at exactly the same area. In fact, I'll give it a couple of shekels a little bit lower, too. So we'll put it at 189. Yeah, there we go. So we'll see if we get a 190 defend this time. Right now, it's a decent-looking hammer candle. So, it could flip on me in a second. That's goes without question. Still 4 pennies out of the money on MGNI, but it's not really breaking down below the volume weighted average price, so I'll keep eyes on that. Yeah, this market tank here kind of threw everybody a bit of a curveball, but we got to trade what's in front of us. So come what may, baby. I see what you're saying there. Kraken is on fire. It is on fire, man. It just printed a new day's high there. I'm lamenting not having traded this off the 10. It looks so obvious to me, but you didn't get in it, so it wasn't that obvious, I guess. Sorry, I just have to refresh.
That's a good thing to remember, yeah. If it was that obvious, then why, yeah, you would have gotten in.
I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Kraken, decent look here. 33.5 pennies on the way to 34. This is up now 614%. If it's not showing up on your scanner, it's because you filtered it out. That's my problem. I filter these monsters out by 85 pennies minimum. And then it was my friend Neil who gave me the great idea to actually, have some sort of other filter so that I can have advanced notice of these monsters before they make their way up into that buck. So good look for Kraken. Decent move here. Not going to complain about that. Back a break even looks like right now on MGNI. How are we doing on the dead one? Let's look here. We're in the money nicely on the dead one now. Okay, so let's see if the dead one can curl back into the volume weighted average price. And by the dead one, guys, I'm just joking. I'm talking about Apple. I'm looking for a 190 and a third, possibly 190.30 curl and pop. And the reason I'm looking there is because that's where VWAP is. So if we can make it up there, that would just be aces trading gods. So let's go. Let's send Apple back into the volume weighted average price. I'd be pleased as punch. Jay Lee, it's not obvious. It's a short flow gapper. It literally can bamboozle anyone, any direction. Jay, truer words. You dropped another truer words have never been spoken, Jay. So shout out to you. You're right. I'm just getting down on myself a little bit because I saw the level. I liked the level. I didn't take the level. So who's to blame for that? Right over here. So we'll try to do better next time. Looking for Apple now into that 190 and a third. Just popped into the 10 period here, rejecting off the 10 period at 190.15. Let's see if there's any steam left in these Mag 7s and the future. We're at 18.7, but we're doing the wick shimmy from the south side. Oh, we have a super chat. 4.99 super chat by Edhem Abu Sahel. Did Kraken report earnings? Love the show. We love you, my man. Well, Neil said that Kraken did report, but I can't see. I can't seem to find anything on it. It says there's retail interest from social media here. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, actually. Let's pull up Trade Ideas. Shout out to the NOS boss and his crew, CRKN. And there you go. Earnings, May 15th, pre-market. So this one did report yesterday. That is a fact. Shout out to Neil. Thank you for that, Neil, because I didn't actually have eyes on that, nor do I have any entries on my blotter showing that this actually reported. So do better, IBKR. You suck. Yeah, I'm joking. Calm down. Anyway, so keeping an eye on Apple, and let's have a look at MGNI. Yeah, MGNI is going to stop me out, it looks like here. It's about to break the volume weighted out. Oh, just as I say that, it pops right back up. So some bamboozlement on these small cap gappers again.
Yeah, if I may shout you out for a moment, I think it's very neat that I think you have your small cap trade and your mega cap trade.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that's because we know what I trade, and it's just mega caps and ETFs. So I think that's really neat that you can have the versatility to trade things that do move very differently. So I want to shout out Sharif here. Also, I'm proud of what I did with Tesla. So I was having an emotional affair with NVIDIA the whole time, to be clear. I'm in Tesla, and I kept being like, but NVIDIA, if you were here, we would have had this nice sharp drop. I was like, no, Adira, you took Tesla to the dance with Tesla. So I'm proud of what I did with this trade. That emotional affair notwithstanding, took 30 pennies for the bulk of this position, took some of it out a little bit earlier at that little bottom of the trough there, for 15 pennies. So I'm proud of what I did here, I have to say. The reason I wanted to get out so quickly is I wanted to see what we did at 174. We bounced off 174. I said, Adara, 170, no more. Get out here. So I got out around 174, slightly above 174s. Happy with this. Please just punch. Learning, growing, etc. So I think this has been a fun look. Dell, some people mentioning Dell, and Dell, as Sharif was telling me this morning,
Monster.
Dell's up like 100% on the year, you were saying, so far, so.
It's a little bit ahead of NVIDIA, obviously behind SMCI, which is up like almost 200%. But it was no secret what Jensen wanted. Nobody's talking to you.
It was you this time.
Yeah, it's a series of nosy little, you know what. It was Jensen who had the Dell CEO first row at the, what was it called again? The Imagine event or whatever. The NVIDIA event. What was it called?
No, it wasn't GTC. I don't remember what it was.
You know what I mean, though. The Dell CEO was first row there. Jensen called him out by name, pointed at him. So, I mean, like he's throwing the cloud server business his way. Or so the article I read this morning posited. So we'll see how Dell does. But we already know by the price action, they're doing quite well.
Yeah, and I mean, someone in this chat, Adrian saying Dell short. I've got to say, I saw this chart and immediately was ready to press the button to get that purple triangle on my screen. You know why I say that? I mean, you said Dell short. We had this move down here. We had this gorgeous bounce here for 143.50. Then we started seeing my favorite thing to see in a chart, and that's going to be a range. Look at this. Chop and turn around, view up. Tried to make a high here at 147.50. Shot down. Come back up. This is a lower high. I want to get 89s. That's what I want here. I don't want a huge position. If we break decisively above into this 147.15 area, so we're going to be risking like 25 pennies. I can totally live with that. Then I'm going to have to get out. But I want all the smoke. I want that gorgeous flat bottom break here at 146.50s, and then I want to see what else happens from here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get involved. But yeah, thank you, Adrian, for mentioning that one, because I wanted to take a look. Yeah, happy I got out of Tesla. Still a little bit interested in NVIDIA. If it keeps kind of having that 944.50s, 947 area going for it, I like that. But also, I like your Apple look. That's a great look there, Nate.
I took some profits there. Thank you, Adira. When it popped up nicely into that 18 penny area or so. Sorry, I didn't have Apple on there. My bad. I was looking at Kraken. I'm looking for a move up here and a hold of 190. Ideally, I'd like a 190.30 move. We are having issues with the 10 period on the 5. I'm not surprised because once you break it as a level of support, chances are you could use it as resistance, and that's essentially what we're doing right now. We can't really seem to break above the 10 period. Every time we move into the 10 period on the 5, it meets a wall of sellers. I'm going to pack my patience and see if we can stay above 190. Really, that is the level here. And as you see, this candle shook me out of my original position. Otherwise, I would have still been in it at a better price. But the whole point is here, they're trying to, people, they know. I don't know who they are, but whoever they are, know that everybody's looking at 190. So you're going to get these specialist breakdowns and breakouts to kind of push you out of your trade. And it's going to be incumbent upon you to either, be tough enough to hold on to it or manage risk in a way that allows you to hold on to it. So, and that means smaller position size like I'm doing right now in order to be able to hold on to the trade, then that's what it's going to take. AMZN, though, is not finding any support at where it's at. This has been a downward channel galore, okay? Look at these lower lows, lower highs. What a hell of a downward channel this has been today. It's really been, where have you decided to get short? You've had multiple opportunities, right? The most juicy looking of them was that move back up into break even at 186, which also happened to be the 50 period. And it was also price action support earlier on from 11:15 till around 11:45. You come back right into that level, and off that level, you've printed $2 odd. No, sorry, $1.50. So it's a good short there on Amazon. I know the Katina man had that. He's currently on a walk and talk, so nothing that we can ask him right now, but he had that Amazon short earlier. Apple still above 190. That's okay. Let's check it on the MGNI. This one is still at VWAP. I've already put my stop. I'm now 7 pennies out of the money on that monster. It's not a monster, obviously, but I'm looking for it to hold VWAP here. But it does. I feel like the bottom's going to come off out of this on any time. And the thing is, the volume. The volume is really dropping off here. So unless the volume starts coming up, because you can't go up without volume. You can go down without volume, but you can't go up as much without volume.
That's true.
The only 4.0. Oh, okay. I guess you got a good GPA there. Jeez. Would you consider this a bull market? And if so, how long is it projected to last? P.S. I'm up 133% on Kraken. Thanks for the alert. Well, first of all, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. But I do want to distinguish the bull market and its effects from the Mag7, and then its effect on things like Kraken, FFIE, AMC. It's not going to have an effect on those. Those march to the beat of their own drum. They may become more liquid in a bull market, but I don't think that they're necessarily going to trend up in the way that the ES is trending. So you'll look at the ES, the NQ, and somehow they'll be correlated in one way or another to the Mag7 and some of the big tech names. But these small cap gappers, they don't care what the market's doing. They march to the beat of their own drum. So it's a great question, but I don't want you to correlate the two because sometimes there is no connection. Now, with respect to our current market, yes, we are absolutely in a bull market. We have been a secular bull market for like the last 20 years or something, 30 years, something like that. But specifically to what you're talking about right now, we just printed all-time highs on both the NQ, which is the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500, which is the ES, yesterday. All-time highs on the back of that wicked CPI print was lower than expected. So by definition, we are in a bull market. It's just about catching these waves at the right time, knowing which names to take. It's a bit of a stock picker's market now, as opposed to you just trade anything and it goes up. So keep that in mind. Do a bit more research on the connection between the market and these small cap gappers. But great question. I hope you absolutely kill it. I did get stopped out of this MGNI thing, as it did, as I suspected, break through the volume weighted average price. So we'll take a hit there. Let's see how we're doing on the dead one. Still in the money on the dead one. Still can't print above the 10 period. Packing my patience.
How is it 151? I just looked. That's
oh yeah,
what it is.
I was like wondering about a price. Oh, sorry, I have to interrupt you.
Yeah, sorry.
Michael Lloyd, shout out to big Michael Lloyd. This dude has been printing on these small cappers all day. Michael, I know you've been tagging me with this, and I'm sorry, I meant to get to it. GWAV, he says, here it is, baby. Green Wave Technologies. Look at this thing go. We're gonna add this one here as well, GWAV, so we can see the ticker up 280%, printing days highs. My man's been long for a hot minute. Yeah, as I said, 280%. Again, it's a 20 penny name. So, I don't have notice of these ones, but it's a fantastic looker on the day. And if we're not going to be able to trade GME and AMC because they're selling off and it's hard to get shorts for you guys, there's other names running. Yeah, maybe they're penny stocks, but I don't know. Is the money different if it's pennies or dollars? So we'll continue to watch this one. Shout out to Michael Lloyd. Thank you for pointing this one out.
Yeah, thank you so much to Michael Lloyd for pointing that one out. I love this, again, another thing I love with this community. Everybody's looking at different stocks. Everyone's looking at different things, and so you can always share, give different perspectives, what have you. We all know what name I've been looking at all day. Yeah, it starts with an N. It has a V and a D and an A. It's NVIDIA. I was watching this. I was in the Tesla trade, which actually I was really proud of here. So I'll just show this again, just taking this short off that level and getting into VWAP. Someone as proud as well as whatever's going on there, so I'll have to talk about that in a minute.
Pumping.
But yeah, NVIDIA, I got involved here around 945s because I did like that we had these lower highs. Did have this higher low though, so I knew this is kind of a riskier trade, but I said to Dara, you want this rejection, you want this short. If you see stuff you kind of like, which has been every time we get in here, rejecting a little bit, try to take it. We have not been able to break above 946. I'm going to risk it $1 because I think with NVIDIA sometimes you have to give him a little bit more room, him or her, a little bit more room to run. I want to see what we do around 942s. That would be a fun look for me. So let's keep breaking to the downside and to the V, to the D, to the A. So yeah, I sound like a cheerleader over here. So that'll be my look on that one. Google, really proud of where I exited this short because, oh boy, to quote my friend Obi.
Oh boy.
I was a little bit nervous getting into this in the first place. I really shouldn't have probably even gotten in if I'm being quite honest. Because look, we had that VWAP rejection, but we also had this very bullish candle. So I was like, that bullish tail. And then goggles. So I had my goggles on it. We broke above. I had to say bye-bye, got out. So let's have to wait and see what happens there on Google. Just babysitting NVIDIA a little bit here. We're gonna have to get out of this trade, unfortunately, but happy I tried it. You do miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and I had my reasons for liking it, which was just that we did have a little bit of that rejection there. Come on, NVIDIA. That's the one thing with NVIDIA is that spread is a whole other beast, and now, of course, it decides to reject, but you know what? It's all good. You gotta try things if you like them, and if you're Randy, you gotta hang out and enjoy
Randy. Infinite
life.
Randy. This is called Infinite Randy. Yes, shout out to Randy. Yeah, man. Man, every day I learn something new from that guy, man. Every day he's teaching me something new. Shout out to Randy, man. I'm printing here decently on the dead one as it now has curled in above that 190 and a fifth. Let's see if it can make it up to a third. I'll be waiting at a third. That's where VWAP is. That's where ideally I'd like to have my out. It's broken now through the 10. It technically wicked through the 20 and the 50, but it hasn't closed above them. Let's see if we can get above the $0.25. We're knocking on the door of the $0.25 right now. The market's back above 18.7. It's back in positive territory. You have goggles breaking out as well, as Adair pointed out, through the volume weighted average price. But there isn't really much else, guys. To be honest with you, Tesla's above VWAP, but, you know, yeah, I got to tell you, the market not looking awfully strong at these levels. This was a decent trade here off Tesla. I should have been more alive to this. This was yesterday's break-even point, 174, and you got another drop and pop off that level. I'm waiting for the drop and pop to manifest here at 190.30 on AAPL. What else is there going on? Oh, Softy's curling back into the 20, and we had a wicked short on Softy at the 20 earlier, but it does look like it's coming in with a bit more volume this time. And I got to tell you, last time you didn't have these two touches like that. So soft one could be rejecting off the 20 here, or could make its way up into the 50, or try to go break even at 423. Keep your eyes on Softy at this 20 period. It's been a rinse and repeat trade all day, and there it goes again. So I should have been taking it rather than talking about it. Softy, nice rejection off the 20 on the 5. Still same place at Apple, 190.20. I'm looking for a 190.30 print. Sorry to repeat myself, guys, but these are the trades that I've been looking at. Let's look back here at GameStop. Okay, GameStop's trying to do the same thing that AMC did earlier, which is put in incrementally higher lows to accumulate at the volume-weighted average price. The volume-weighted average price also seems to be kind of almost in line with this trough that we put in right off the open here. 955, we bottomed out at 32 bucks. VWAP's at 31.85. So I love when the two are really close like that, because if you get that break, you'll have price action resistance, you'll have VWAP technical resistance, and if you get that break, you can use it as support. So good look here. I mean, just personally, from an excitement perspective, I want these memes to run, baby. And AMC is right back at VWAP right now, so we'll see what we get there. But Kraken is absolutely flying, Ram. It is up 956% as it now comes in on 50 pennies. This thing started at 5 pennies today. This thing is flying, baby. Almost 1,000% on the day. We are about 30% from this. CRKN is the ticker. CRKN. 1,000%. We're closing in on the day. This thing has done how many shares of volume? Let me. 2 billion, says Neil, and he's right. It's done $2.02 billion, shares in shares in volume, and it's now at 50% on the day, 1,000%. There it goes, 53 pennies, high of day. Wow, what a move up here by Kraken. Shout out to Michael Lloyd for calling this out, man. I wouldn't have had eyes on this, Adara. Watch out, though. Topping tail candle coming in here, dipping into 45. We're already 8 pennies drop. So people taking profits here, or big boy shorts coming in. What a topping tail candle this is, Adara. Wow, we just dropped 200% in seconds. You gotta love small caps. You can't tell me this is not exciting.
It's something, yeah.
It's something.
It is something, that's for sure.
Well said.
But yeah, no, and I think that's really cool is everyone's gonna have their own style, right? You know, like you love your small caps.
Yeah.
I love to just sit and watch tape on like some, you know, old fancy slow moving stock and you know, get involved. So I think that's what's cool is everyone's gonna have their own levels, right? So also, I'm curious as well, we have like a couple minutes left. I know you mentioned earlier, like try to trade the small caps in the sim before you do them live. Is that what you did when you first got into small caps?
Adara, I was in the sim for years.
I love that.
Yeah. And I really don't care.
No, I appreciate that because as someone who was in the sim for a really long time, like it's nice to know you need time to practice.
Oh yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate that.
Yeah, it was not a natural feeling for me to do this. Like I just did not have the natural disposition, so it had to be worked in. Quite frankly, that's the real
Thank you so much
deal.
for being
Yeah,
honest.
no problem.
That's what we give you here in How to Trade. We also give you lessons. We give you Sharif's Apple trades, small caps. Yeah, it's been a really fun day, guys. Not for my P&L. Like I said, this has been a really rough week, but I'm trying not to dwell on it too much because the markets are going to do what they do. You can't try too much in these here markets, to use a Sharifism. Also, I see
That's
that great
your
Apple
ism,
trade.
by the way.
I forgot. I feel like I thought you started saying that, but anyways, it was me.
I took it
but yeah,
from you.
Shout out to you though, Sharif, for that. Shout out to everybody here. So happy to be here. Bears vs Bulls. I'm so happy to be here. And I really want to kind of try to continue to work on risk management, make some new trades heading into tomorrow. We're gonna have to see you tomorrow for our last day of moving average crossovers week. But right now, we're gonna cross over the part of the show where you get the big kahunas. Brendan's at the big desk, guys. See you tomorrow, same bat time and same bat channel.
See you guys.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. A couple hours left on Thursday afternoon here as we head through to, I mean, it's a long weekend in Canada this weekend than you guys get in the US. Long weekend coming up